Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for today's running of the Ag Pro 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Talladega Super Speedway, and it should be a fun stream here for racing, the third stream of the day, the second race at Talladega today. We already wrapped up our ARCA Menard Series coverage a couple hours ago, and the NASCAR Cup Series qualifying session for their race tomorrow wrapped up earlier this morning as well. As for this one, I think we're going to see a much more exciting race here for these Xfinity Series drivers taking place at Talladega than what we may have seen already today with the single car qualifying. And of course, I will say congratulations to your race winner for today's race. Let me pull the, they have the national anthem going on right as we speak. So, wanted to get that into listening to you guys, but I also don't want to cut in right in the middle of it. So sorry for that. Looks like everything is good here. Yeah, I don't want to do that. We're already in the middle of it. We'll just keep that playing for right now. But we didn't get the full results of that ARCA race earlier due to the arcaracing.com website also having some issues. So did not have the names next to the driver car numbers, but the Venturini Motorsports cars pretty much dominated the day. All the way up at the front of the field. I mean, they were single file mostly the whole time. They stayed single file, and no cautions for incident in that race earlier. I'd be shocked if that happens 2 races in a row here with this one today. We have seen quite a few cautions with the Xfinity Series races on the first 2 Super Speedway races of the season. At Daytona and Atlanta. And Atlanta was kind of a fairly tame race in regards to how the race was ran, mostly single file like we saw out of the ARCA race earlier today. But I will say with this track having a lot more grip than the new revamped Atlanta and the Super Speedway package being different here and at Daytona for the Xfinity Series and what we see in the Xfinity Series races at Atlanta, with a kind of a hybrid super speedway package. They still have the lower downforce compared to what they have at a track like this. So I still think that we're definitely going to see some more movement through the field. We'll see multiple lines of action. And will we see as good of a finish as what we saw last weekend when Sam Mayer and Ryan Sieg went toe-to-toe, a 2/1000th of a second margin victory between Mayer and Sieg. And Mayer was able to get the win on that last lap pass. He tried his best to hold on. He built out about a 1.5-second lead over the course of about a victory. But on a track like this, coming off of a redemption race, I think Ryan Sieg could be one of the favorites. There aren't a lot of Fords in the field, so that might hurt his chances of trying to go to victory lane here today. He is starting in the back half, but he has had some good runs in years past on super speedways. I think back to Daytona just a couple years ago. In the summer race that ended up kind of being a wreck fest, but he ended up finishing inside the top 5. We've seen him have top 5, top 10 runs on this style of racetrack, so he's definitely got the momentum riding for him. We'll see if he can have a bounce-back performance and still try to go for that first career win here today. We'll go through the starting lineup for today's Ag Pro 300, 300-mile race, 113 laps around this 2.66-mile super speedway, and all RCR front row for the third straight race on a super speedway this season. Austin Hill, Jesse Love on the front row. No surprise, they were the front row starters for both Atlanta and Daytona at the start of the season. Though Jesse Love was on the pole for both of those races, Austin Hill on the pole today, and Love is second. Parker Kligerman and Cole Custer will line up in row 2. Kligerman has been a good super speedway racer, a couple truck wins at Daytona and or Talladega in his career. So let's see if he can get that first Xfinity win of his career today. Sammy Smith and Ryan Truex in row 2. Second start for Truex in the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing, and Sammy Smith coming off a good run last week. Chandler Smith and Riley Herbst will be in row number 4. Chandler Smith is the points leader coming into the race here today for the Xfinity Series. Josh Williams and Sheldon Creed in row 2. Creed with a runner-up earlier this year at Daytona. And Josh Williams in the 11, still searching for his second top 10 of the year. He had his first just a couple weeks ago. Anthony Alfredo, Patrick Emerly in row 6. Alfredo in the heat of a playoff battle. We'll get into that in moments. But on the inside right now, trying to hold on inside the cutoff line for yet another week. Taylor Gray and A.J. Allmendinger in row 7. Row 8 will be Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, Joey Gase, and Shane Van Gisbergen in row 9. SVG making his Talladega debut in the Xfinity Series today. David Starr, Kyle Weatherman back in row number 10. Row 11 will be Parker Retzlaff and Jeremy Clements. I think those are two drivers we could definitely see up there contending to lead laps at some point today. Brandon Jones and, as I mentioned, Ryan Sieg in the field will be both back in road next year, looking to keep it on all four here this afternoon. Brandon Poole and Matt DiBenedetto in row 14. This will be the third start for Matty D in the Xfinity Series this year and back-to-back weeks for him. Cesar Baccarella and Dawson Cram will be in row 15. Row 16, Haley Deegan and Jordan Anderson Xfinity Series. Leland Honeyman and Jeffrey Earnhardt will be in row 17. Earnhardt with a runner-up finish just a couple years ago in the spring Talladega Xfinity date. Jeb Burton, Josh Williams in row 18. Jeb Burton, a former winner at Talladega in the Xfinity Series at Kaulig Racing just a couple seasons ago. Ryan Ellis and Mason Massey will line up in row 19, rounding out our 38-car field for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race. As I mentioned, we'll go through the point standings and take a look at how that is shaped up in the early going. Pull this up on screen. Chandler Smith, I mentioned already, is the points leader coming in. That points gap over Cole Custer, who is second in the standings, is 19 points. 2 wins this year for Chandler Smith, so he's locked into the playoffs. Cole Custer does not have a win yet this year, and Chandler Smith has finished inside the top 10 in all but one race this season. The first race he did not finish in the top 10 was last week at Texas, so looking for a bounce-back performance this week. He has led the most laps in the series of any Xfinity regular at 268 laps led, and he is also tied for the most stage wins with Justin Allgaier and Jesse Love at 3 stage wins on the season as well. 6 top 5s to go along with those 7 top 10s in the first 8 races, so obviously a great season for Chandler Smith, looking to get those extra 15 playoff points if he can hold on and win the regular season championship at the end of race 26. As I mentioned, Cole Custer second in points. He has 4 top 5, 6 top 10 finishes this year, led just over 100 laps, 1 stage win for him, and looking for his first win to lock himself into the playoffs here today. The other drivers who are locked into the playoffs with wins would include Austin Hill with 2 wins on the season to start the year on the super speedways at Daytona and Atlanta, so trying to go 3 for 3 on the super speedways this season here today. He starts on the pole. Sam Mayer is the only other Xfinity regular with a win. He's 14th in the points, which would actually be beyond the cutoff line, but because he does have a win, he is automatically locked in. Just the 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s this year for Mayer. It's a tough start to the season as he had 3 DNFs in the first 4 races. That is why he is still below the cutoff line by way of points, but again, that win locks him in. So that would actually bump Brandon Jones, who is 12th in the driver standings, out, and Ryan Sieg is currently the final driver above the cutoff line coming into this race today over Brandon Jones by just 5 points. And both drivers had good top 10 performances by way of the speed in their cars last week. Obviously, Ryan Sieg was able to capitalize with a better finish, finishing in the second place position, and that has propelled him just ahead of Brandon Jones. We'll see if he can hold on, though, for long. We usually see one of those underdog teams get into the playoffs every year in the Xfinity Series. We'll see if Sieg can be that team to do it here. If it's not him, you got a guy like Anthony Alfredo, who is still sitting just behind the cutoff line. It's the first week he's actually been outside of the cutoff line on points in quite some time. And he's only 12 points behind Ryan Sieg. This is a good day for him to try to make those points back up on a super speedway. Shane Van Gisbergen also just on the outside looking in. He's only 18 points below the cutoff line, but he's not as much in a dire straits situation, not only because it's 18 points, and even after today's race, we still have about 17 races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series, but there's a lot of road course races yet to go through this summer for SVG. You'd have to imagine he'd get a win on. Even if he doesn't, he'll have really solid points days. Eric Almirola, who is 16th in point standings, has only ran 4 of the 8 races this year, so it's impressive that he is as high in the standings as he is. And that is even with just the 2 top 10s in those 4 races, including a win. He is not in the playoffs because he is not running the full season schedule. So even though he has scored to be running for points in the Xfinity Series instead of the Cup or the Truck Series, he is not running the full schedule. So again, he is not playoff eligible. The other drivers that are inside the top 10 of the point standings without a win would include Cole Custer, who is 2nd in points, Justin Allgaier, who's 4th, Jesse Love in his rookie campaign is still 5th in points, Riley Herbst 6th, AJ Allmendinger 7th, Sammy Smith 8th, Parker Kligerman 9th, and Sheldon Creed rounds out the top 10. So that is the updated point standings coming into the Ag Pro 300 today for the Xfinity Series, again at Talladega. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you guys haven't done so yet, and subscribe for more NASCAR content. Our goal is to get to 100 likes on today's Xfinity Series live commentary stream. Again, 113 laps is our scheduled distance and 300 miles to go along with those 113 laps. Cars One Boy, Wade Selinsky, Joseph C3, Michael Turner, Terry Lewis, Angel Lorick, the Gamer, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I said that correctly. Jojo, thanks for tuning in as well. Blaney in the booth. Yep. Daniel Suarez and Ryan Blaney are in the booth today with Adam Alexander. And the race is on your local Fox affiliate. Again, Big Fox, local Fox affiliate for today's Xfinity race. It actually caught me off guard. I thought it was going to be on FS1. It is not. It is on local Fox, if you're wondering. Where you can actually watch it visually, because on the stream I can't give you the visuals of the race, but we have the live leaderboard and my commentary to go along with it. True Texan, thanks for tuning in as well. Patrick Shadley, Bond 1771, Mike G, Chris Davis, Dan By. I'm going to say 8. I'll go with 8 cautions, which might not seem like a lot, but I think we can get some long green flag runs in the first 2 stages. I wouldn't be shocked if we see like 4 cautions in the last, 30 laps of this race or so, but I think if we get to that point with only 4 cautions prior to that, obviously we got the 2 stage ends at lap 30 and lap 60, I do believe, are the stage splits today. Then the final stage will run long to the end, but I still don't see us having too many cautions in the first 2 stages. This was a wreck fest last year. We actually saw 2 flips in the same race last year. We had the Blaine Perkins nasty barrel roll accident on the back straightaway, and then Daniel Hemrick actually caught some air upside down in turns 3 and 4 up against pretty much surfing on top of the wall. I don't think he caught the catch fence, thankfully, but definitely a scary accident there, and the big one right at the end of the race. I was at this one last year. It was the wildest race I've probably seen in person by way of crashes. I hope to not see that again. It wasn't the wildest crash I think I've seen in person. That Myatt Snyder wreck at Daytona a couple of years ago. I was there for that. That was probably a little scarier, but it was, you hate to see that many accidents, that many big, massive, accidents in the same race. So glad everybody was okay, and hopefully everybody will be A-okay here today, as it is going to be the treacherous Talladega Superspeedway that we all know it to be. Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth also welcome into the stream. Heard IROC series coming back. Yeah, I heard July? That's supposed to re-debut, I guess. Sounds like they're going to try to dial up Austin Hill in the Fox booth. You'll get to listen into that.
Right now, Daniel. Austin, Daniel, Adam, and Ryan Blaney up here in the Fox booth. How you feeling, my friend? Definitely you have a fast hot rod.
Yeah, amigo, we got a really fast hot rod. It's been a Chevrolet, super fast today, as fast as the Xfinity internet. Hopefully we can keep it up front all day. Put on a big show for the fans and be there at the end.
That's awesome, man. We're going to be watching. We know that you are one of the best out there in plate racing, so put on a show for us. Good luck.
Will do, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, you think Austin's just so good? He just woke up the grid. He sounded like he just woke up from a nap.
He'll turn it on. Yeah. Now we look at some more of our starting grid. Row 2, Parker Kligerman has a pair of truck wins here. Cole Custer is our reigning champion. Ford looking for their first win of the season. Row 3, you got a Toyota and Ryan Truex. His older brothers won here 3 times. Martin and Sammy Smith back there in row 3 as well. Best of the junior motorsports group in qualifying yesterday. Row 4. Got another Ford there in Riley Herbst, starting alongside the man that comes in leading the championship, Chandler Smith. As we pop up Riley Herbst, let's get a report on Team 98 and say good afternoon to the man that won here in 2013. Hey, Regan Smith.
Well, good afternoon, Adam. You mentioned Riley Herbst starting 8th today, and talk about a team that is in need of a good result. That would be that number 98 team. In the 5 races since he finished 5th at Las Vegas earlier this year, he has not had a single top 13 finish. In fact, 4 finishes outside of the top 20. But Riley told me earlier today that he's not at all concerned about that. They have had great speed with that race car, been very close a number of times. And think back to Daytona, where he nearly won the race, had a bad restart at the end. Keep an eye on that 98 today.
And I go back to last fall when he ran the Cup race here, finished inside the top 10, led laps, and he said that really infused a lot of confidence into that race team heading down the stretch of last season. You saw there in row 5, Josh Williams, Sheldon Creed. Creed's got to drop to the rear. Row 6, Patrick Emmerling, good in qualifying alongside Anthony Alfredo. A.J. Allmendinger, Taylor Gray, row 7, although Gray with some adjustments has to go back to the back with some adjustments. Row A, Justin Allgaier won last summer at Daytona in the draft. He'll be a player today. And now we send it down to Josh Sims, also on pit road this afternoon for us.
Well, Adam, last week was an absolute heartbreaker for Ryan Sieg and the 39 team to lose by that slim of a margin. But after talking with the team this weekend, they are looking at the positive side of that race. It was a great points day for them, great for their mile-and-a-half program, and they moved above the cut line when it comes to the playoffs. Now, as you shift to Talladega for Ryan Sieg, this is arguably one of his best tracks. He's got a number of top 5 finishes here, a runner-up finish. This team is very confident. Now, they did qualify 24th, but if they can work their way through the field and avoid the chaos, they should once again be a factor here today, Adam.
No doubt. 3 runner-up finishes. Josh talks about the heartbreak last week, and hopefully they can bounce back here today and finish the deal. Now our Credit One race analysis. 113 laps today, 300 miles. First 2 stages, 25 laps apiece. That final run to the checkers, 63 laps. Fuel window, 40 to 45 laps, and that will be big in the final stage when everyone will have to pit at least one time. That our Credit One race analysis.
Yeah, and I think someone we haven't really discussed who's a good plate racer. I think, Jesse Love had a great run in Atlanta. He controlled that whole race, just kind of how the ending fell with the fuel strategy and guys running out. He ended up running out and not winning it, but he's in a fast car. Teammates Austin Hill, did he learn some stuff from Austin? That.
All right, about to have the green flag wave. Jesse Love, Austin Hill on the front row for this one. Hill, the control car, electing the outside lane. Unique wheel and paint scheme on the 2 car this weekend. Changing things up. Green flag in the air. We're underway in the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega. Cole Custer giving Austin Hill a massive push into the first turn. Hill is easily clear to pull to the bottom if he wants. Waiting for Jesse Love to maybe pull up just a little bit closer before doing so, and that's exactly what happens. Before Hill moves to the double yellow line, and Cole Custer leads the top with his teammate Riley Herbst right in line behind him. And as they try to push their way forward, both the RCR boys of Jesse Love and Austin Hill are going to move up just a little bit. 3 lanes starting to form while Riley Herbst gets caught in the middle along with Chandler Smith just behind him. All of a sudden, Jesse Love and Austin Hill are split apart. Love in the middle, 3 wide. Right in front of the 98 and the 81. Parker Kligerman's down on the WO line pushing the 21 of Hill, who just tries to control the pack. And the early going of the race, Austin Hill going to lead lap 1 from the pole. I don't think we're going to see him lead every lap like we saw from the pole sitter in the ARCA race earlier today, but a good start nonetheless here for Austin Hill. Parker Kligerman pulling out of line to the outside. Austin Hill going to go with him. That leaves the bottom wide open for Sammy Smith in the 8 car for Junior Motorsports. Middle group still being led by Jesse Love. Lane changing going on once again as the 2 cars who were on the bottom now move to the middle groove, leaving the 11 of Josh Williams to lead the bottom lane as he's about in the 4th or 5th row back on the inside. Very aggressive bump drafting going on. We saw an early wreck in the Xfinity Series race at Daytona earlier this season. Hopefully we don't see that here today, but these guys are doing a lot of lane changing in the first 2 laps of this race. And already 3x3 from about 3rd or 4th all the way back to the back of the pack. At the end of lap number 2 this time by, Austin Hill leads it again by a lot less of a margin over Sammy Smith than what he led the opening lap by. 3 wide for 3rd on back still. Jesse Love is clear in the outside lane up against the wall, just like he is with Austin Hill. Teammates running nose to tail. Parker Kligerman getting a good push. 3rd in line on the top by Cole Custer. Carries the momentum to the back of the 2. And the 00 going to pull out of line. Didn't want to get crammed in. Right in line behind Parker Kligerman. As soon as he pulled out, nobody went with him. His teammate Riley Herbst is down there, so that could have been part of the reason why Custer made the move. Herbst is finally catching up to the back of the 00. Ryan Sieg also in that middle groove behind the Riley Herbst Ford. So you got 3 Fords. Very few Fords are actually in the field, but 3 of them leading the way in the middle, trying to work together. A lot of Chevys in the field in the Xfinity Series, far and away have the most manufactured, or most cars of any manufacturer on the racetrack every given weekend in the Xfinity Series. So when you go to these super speedways and the drafting, you have to have teammates and team manufacturers working together. In this series specifically, it makes it a little bit harder for the Toyotas and Fords. They almost have to kind of group up as one. You see a lot of Chevys up at the very front of the field right now. The drivers inside the top 10, the only 2 that aren't Chevys are Ryan Truex in 4th and Chandler Smith in 10th. The Fords, who were caught back in the middle lane, started losing numbers behind them, and they've fallen outside of the top 10. The highest running is currently Cole Custer in 14th. Hill has led the first 4 laps, about 73 degrees. Got some storms rolling in later in the evening, through the night, and into tomorrow morning. Should be cleared out of there before tomorrow's Cup Series race, at least as of right now. So that's a good sign. Hopefully we get all 113 laps in without any sort of inclement weather here tonight. It'll be a much cooler day as well tomorrow afternoon. Anybody in the Talladega area for that Cup race is going to be below 60. It's pretty cold, though, for down south in Alabama. I say all the races I've been there, it's been pretty much 70s and 80s the entire time. That's about like what the weather is here in Northwest Ohio. That shouldn't be what it is down there, but I guess it's what it's going to be tomorrow after the rain goes through. Bundle up for anybody going. The 4 drivers running for the Dash for Cash here this weekend would include A.J. Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, and Ryan Sieg. So again, those are the 4 drivers trying to run for that bonus $100,000. The winner between those 4 will get that Dash for Cash money. It's the 3rd and final week, I do believe, of the Dash for Cash for the Xfinity Series. Well, it's technically the 4th week of it, but it's the 3rd week that we give away the $100,000. By we, I mean NASCAR, not me. I don't give away the $100,000 bonus to those drivers. Riding on board with Shane Van Gisbergen. He'll be running double duty this weekend in the Cup Series race tomorrow, as well as this Xfinity race today. Somebody might have to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe he is the only driver to run both races this weekend in in Xfinity and Cup. Anthony Alfredo also is another one. See, I caught myself there. Anthony Alfredo in the 5 car, running full-time in the Xfinity Series today. He'll also be in the 62 in a non-chartered entry for tomorrow's race for Beard Motorsports. Is BJ McLeod in this one as well? That would be the other driver running double duty. McLeod is going to be in the Cup race tomorrow. 78 for Live Fast, and he is not in the Xfinity Series field here today. So just Cup racing for BJ McLeod, it looks like, this weekend. First full screen commercial break. The top 15 in the running order separated by 1 second, a 2-second gap between first and 28th. As the field has mostly gone single file up against the outside wall after starting 3 by 3 for those initial laps out of the gate. Your top 10 on lap 7 would be Austin Hill in the race lead by 1/10 of a second over Jesse Love. 2/10 of a second back is Parker Kligerman in 3rd. Ryan Truex in 4th, 3/10 of a second back. 4/10 back is A.J. Allmendinger in 5th. Justin Allgaier 1/2 a second back at 6th. Shane Van Gisbergen in 7th, 6/10 of a second off the lead. Chandler Smith is also 6/10 of a second back in 8th. Also within 7/10 of a second off the lead is Kyle Weatherman in 9th, and Jeremy Clements rounds out the top 10. He is also 7/10 of a second back. So that is the top 10 in the running order. Again, lap 7 of 113 in the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega Superspeedway. Listening live on KRC. We'll stay right here. Won't take another break, at least for right now. 30 likes on the stream. Again, our goal is to get to 100 likes on the stream, so definitely be sure to hit the like button if you guys, again, have not done so yet. All year round decks, and I thought that said pierogies there for a second. Oh, man. Pierogilis, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I said that correctly. And Aussie probably rooting for SVG, I'd imagine. Yep, and he is in the top 10 early on. Hopefully he does well for you this weekend. Rod Brown, also welcome into the stream. NASCAR 2311 Cup Racing, also welcome back. JoJo. Frank Powers. Might have shouted some of you out in the pre-race, but appreciate it. Like, comment in the chat throughout the stream, subscribe for more NASCAR content. Austin Hill has led the first 8 laps of the race. He not only wins the races a lot on these super speedways in the Xfinity Series, but he's always at the front towards the end of these stages as well. And here in stage 1, trying to take care of business and get yet another stage win on the season. He's had a few of them already. Actually, just one. One stage win on the year for Austin Hill, so he's trying to go for a second. Jesse Love in second, who is tied for the most stage wins this season with 3. Definitely up there in contention as well. Biggest movers of the race so far, Sheldon Creed up 24 positions, Taylor Gray up 16 positions, Jeb Burton up 13, 12 positions gained for Ryan Sieg, and Jeffrey Earnhardt up 11 spots. One driver in the field running double duty today specifically. I mentioned that there's a couple drivers in the field running both the Xfinity Cup Series races. They're both Xfinity regulars, Anthony Alfredo and Shane Van Gisbergen. We'll be running the Cup Series race tomorrow, but another driver pulling double duty this weekend. He actually ran the ARCA race earlier today. My bad, never mind. That was Tanner Gray, not Taylor Gray. So forget I was even saying anything. Tanner Gray was the one in the ARCA race in the Xfinity Series this season. A lot of darting back and forth, top to bottom in the middle of the tri-oval. Almost caused their first accident of the day. Like Sheldon Creed. Chandler Smith in the 81. These last 2 times in the middle of the turns, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Just trying to side draft the car to his inside down on the double yellow line, pulling back to the top and giving a good push to Austin Hill, his teammate just in front of him. As it was single file for a few laps right before the commercial break. They came back from the break and they've been side by side ever since. And it's getting very racy, and that probably helps with the fact that these are short stages in the Xfinity Series on these super speedways. Again, only 25 laps in stage 1. We're halfway through the first stage as we speak. Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, and Ryan Sieg all staying together nose to tail. The 3 of them are the 3 cars in line on the bottom right now, but they don't seem to be nearly as quick as those RCR cars leading the outside lane, nor do they have the numbers to be able to keep the momentum going forward once they get close to the front of the field. I just don't think Cole Custer and Riley Herbst have fast enough cars to be able to lead a line up to the front. At least not when the 21 and the 2 are the ones up at the front leading, which is probably going to be the case for most of the day. It's going to be tough to break those 2 cars apart, but we'll see. Ran out of gas on an overtime restart, unfortunately, as they were getting to the green. Austin Hill got the win, and Hill, who won at Daytona in the season opener, didn't necessarily dominate, but led quite a few laps. Love led some laps that day as well. From the pole, Jesse actually won the first stage at Atlanta. But he's still top 5 in points, so he's had consistency outside of that, just not necessarily the laps led. So an update on those Dash for Cash drivers. AJ Allmendinger still leading those as of right now in 6th. Justin Allgaier 7th. Ryan Sieg just outside the top 10 at 13th. And Sam Mayer back in the 25th place position on lap number 15. Down to 11 laps to go in stage 1. Top 9 cars, single file on the outside, and then it's 2 by 2 behind them. Custer and Herbst have fallen back that far. Still in contention for some stage points, but now the numbers game is still being lost by those cars on the inside. It was about 6 or 7 of them. Now it's down to about 4, maybe 5. Many of those cars a little bit behind the 98 and the 00 leading this line find a spot in the outside. They tried to move their vehicles up there and take control. Do believe Blaine Perkins in the 29, another Ford, who is also down on the bottom with the 39. And he'll still let them all. Waiting to see who's going to be the driver to try to pull out a line and make a move for the stage win as we approach these closing laps of stage 1. Full screen commercial break right now on Fox. As they do that, we'll go through the full field running order on lap 16. Again, Austin Hill, your race leader, 10th of a second ahead of his teammate Jesse Love in second. Chandler Smith is third. Parker Kligerman fourth. Ryan Truex fifth. AJ Allmendinger in sixth. Justin Allgaier seventh. Shane Van Gisbergen 15th. Sheldon Creed 16th. Cole Custer 17th. 18th is Riley Herbst. Patrick Emerly 19th. Ryan Sieg 20th. Josh Williams 21st. Sam Mayer 22nd. Jeffrey Earnhardt 23rd. Parker Retzlaff 24th. Sammy Smith is 25th. Matt DiBenedetto 26th. Joey Gase 27th, Brendan Poole 28th, Kyle Sieg 29th, and Cesar Baccarella is 30th. Mason Massey 31st, Jordan Anderson 32nd, Dawson Cram 33rd, Leland Honeyman 34th, Josh Bilicki 35th, David Starr 36th, Ryan Ellis 37th, and Haley Deegan rounds out the 38-car field. And all 38 of these cars will finish on the lead lap at the end of the stage if we stay incident-free for stage 1 as well. Stay out of trouble here early on. Can't blame them. Especially as wild as it has been at the front of the field at times in this first stage. Already definitely more wild side-by-side lane-changing racing going on here in stage 1 of this Xfinity race than what we saw in the entire 200-mile, 76-lap ARCA race earlier today. This was definitely a wild race a season ago. Picking up where they left off here in the early going at Talladega today. And also, once again, be sure to subscribe for more NASCAR content. On the road to 10,000 subscribers. Just hit 5,000 during last week's Xfinity race at Texas. Saw an insanely close finish. Closest in track history at Texas Motor Speedway and the second closest in Xfinity Series history. Would have been tied for the closest cup finish. 2 1,000ths of a second between Sam Mayer and Ryan Sieg. Sports Zone, thanks for tuning in as well. Corona also getting down to it. 6 laps to go, stage 1 in Talladega, Alabama. A lot of the drivers that are inside the top 10 right now are definitely in the top 10 in points and trying to work their way front all race long. The equalizer of the draft, that is a super speedway at Talladega. 5 to go now, stage 1. Austin Hill still leading the train of cars on the outside. The SHR Fords have fallen back quite a bit. They're 17th and 18th of Herbst and Custer. I believe they did make their way to the outside during the commercial break, and I don't think they're down on the bottom anymore. Let's go for stage points. If you're outside the top 10, I don't think it would hurt you. Especially if you are one of those drivers on the bubble for the playoffs, like a Ryan Sieg in 19th, who was the last driver in on points coming into the day. Sheldon Creed just inside the cutoff line as well. Anthony Alfredo up a bit of a gap between himself and Brandon Jones on the front stretch into turns 1 and 2. Trying to see where he's going to catch him. He doesn't catch him in a right spot. Sheldon Creed also kind of lagging behind just a little bit. Off turn 2, looking to get the pole. He is further back, though. There is patience right now, but again, at some point in the not-so-distant future, somebody's going to not be as patient, pull out a line, trying to make a move. Who will go with them? Who will maybe even try to block them? Can they make it to the end of this first stage without an incident? So far, so good through the first 22 laps. 3 more still to go. Pulling out of line. The 3 Fords working together. Anthony Alfredo going to go down with them, trying to make some moves to get into the top 10 at least. Salvage some sort of stage points here. 2 lap to go mark in the stage. Justin running right around the 5th place position. Brandon Jones catching him in the middle of the corner. So 3 Chevs stuck in the middle as they bump draft. So 3 wide in the back half of the top 10. Parker Kligerman going to pull out a line from 4th. He goes to the inside for 3rd place on Chandler Smith in the middle of 3 and 4. Jesse Love to cover the bottom, and he gets underneath his teammate. So Love pulls down in front of Parker Kligerman on the inside. May take the race lead here at the start-finish line. Moves up to block his teammate. The 21 barely clear. Lead change for the first time today. Jesse Love out in front. Final lap. Jesse Love leading the way. Oh, trouble back straightaway. Car around. It's Justin Allgaier hard into the inside retaining wall. A vicious impact after getting turned off the exit of turn 2 from whoever pushed him from behind. A vicious impact for Justin Allgaier. The front end of his car is bashed in, torn apart. Nobody else seemed to be collected, but somebody obviously got into the back of him. He is out of his car in a hurry. Great to see. That was a vicious impact. Car was dead. It hung a straight left, and it was making a beeline for that inside wall, kind of an awkward angle of a wall that he had hit. That did luckily have safer barrier, but that was an awkward angle because it was about the exit of where the safety crew would have been. That car got to the wall in a hurry. It was Riley Herbst in the 98 who was just behind him. Showing a replay. Herbst definitely got into the left rear corner panel. It almost kind of looked like Allgaier might have moved up a little bit and then tried to cover the hole that he moved up on. I think that was actually the case. I don't think that was on Herbst. I think it might have even been more on Allgaier. Wow, that was a hard impact. Both right side tires and really both rear wheels came up off the ground after the impact head on. Knew that was going to be a big hit when he was headed that direction, and that was an unbelievable impact. But again, he is out under his own power. Jesse Love is going to go on to win stage 1 under caution. It was the final lap of the stage, right off the exit of turn 2 where that incident took place. Again, a single car wreck. Nobody else collected. And Allgaier will end up with a last place finish today as a result of this incident. The rest of the stage 1 results, Jesse Love again wins the stage. Parker Kligerman 2nd, Austin Hill 3rd, Chandler Smith 4th, AJ Allmendinger 5th, Ryan Truex 6th, Shane Van Gisbergen 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Kyle Weatherman 9th, and Jeremy Clements round out the top 10. No Fords in the top 10 here through this first stage. And again, and that's the 4th stage win of the year for Love. All 4 stage wins on super speedways: Daytona, 2 at Atlanta, and now 1 here at Talladega today. Pulled out a line coming to the tri-oval, coming up on the final lap of the stage. Barely was able to clear Austin Hill, and Hill might have cut him a break, honestly. It was a late block by the 2. And either the 21 lifted or he just was barely clear, maybe a little bit of both. Was able to hold on, didn't have to hold on for that last half a lap as the accident happened behind him with Allgaier. But again, just to go back to that incident, it looked like Justin Allgaier moved up off the double yellow line just a little bit, left a hole for Riley Herbst, and then the 7 looked like he turned down trying to cover the hole off the exit of turn 2 and kind of turned himself into the wall. That's what I saw, at least. Curious to know in the chat what you guys thought. Initially, when it happened, I thought Herbst just got into the left rear and turned him, but looking at the replay of it, I would probably say that the 7 moved up and then came down. When he came down, the 98 was already there. And he's going to be in the gap at all, really. Will Jesse Love win? We'll see. He's come close on these super speedways already this year. He's got to make it to the finish here to have a chance, and so far, so good for him. Those last 2 laps of the stage were the first laps not led by a pole sitter today, and that counts the ARCA and the Xfinity race. Austin Hill led the first 27 laps of this one. Another heartbreaker, though, early on for Justin Allgaier. This guy just can't catch a break this season. definitely the hard.
Everybody coming down pit road, Josh.
Let's start with the 21 of Austin Hill, led 23 laps today. He's happy with that car, a little concerned, let's say, with his teammate Jesse Love in the late block that happened towards the end of the stage. Otherwise, things going well for the 21, Regan.
48 of Parker Klingerman, too loose, and you see right there, slid straight through his box. That's going to cost him time. They were going to take 2 tires in order to keep track position. The 81 of Chandler Smith right now, he needs a little bit of help with the dardiness in his car. Said the speed is good, and the 2 of Jesse Love is a little bit edgy off of 2 and through the tri-oval.
Race off pit road. Josh Balicki at plus 23 was the first. Love goes back 1 because of that. Hill was second off of those that were up front at the end of the stage. And that's Kligerman sliding through the box. There were a few drivers that did not come down the pit lane. So as we get ready for stage 2, we will set the running order when we return.
So there were some drivers that stayed out of the pits. Looks like Matt DiBenedetto was one of which that stayed out, and he will be the leader on the restart. Top 8 stayed out of the pits and well off of the lead draft. And they may end up pitting after everybody else. That could be the case here as well. And I would like to believe that that will probably be the case, because I don't think that they'll be able to make it to the end of stage 2 without pitting during the stage 1 break. 2 tire call, though, for Josh Balicki to get him out ahead of everybody else. Actually, I don't even think it was 2 tires. He gained 23 positions, so it was probably gas and go only for Balicki. Gives him an extra set of tires at the end of the race if we get any late race cautions in the final stage and he chooses to pit for fresher tires. We'll see how that's going to work out for him. So DiBenedetto able to lead a lap under caution, technically being our second lead change of the race. But again, I always try to keep track for right sides only. Came out 37th, last on the lead lap. Yeah, you might as well. I would just come back down and change the lefts at that point. I mean, made the call to go right sides only. You might as well bring it back down and put the left sides on when you get through the box. And he slid through pretty deep. He was almost all the way in the next box. I almost wonder if he just didn't see his box when he pulled in. Saw it last second, pulled in late, and then ended up going through it. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because that's kind of what it looked like to me, at least. All right, because I did not get a diecast showing during the ARCA race earlier today, I've got 2 of them for you guys during this Xfinity Series race right now. So I'll turn the camera on for a brief moment. We'll have a diecast showing at the end of stage 2 like we usually do, and I also have a diecast showing here for stage 1 as well. Got a couple of diecasts, the older of the 2 today. It's going to be a Valvoline Mark Martin paint scheme from the year 2000. Former multi-time winner for Mark Martin at Talladega. Won what was once the fastest race in Talladega history, caution-free, in the late 90s. Really like this scheme. The Valvoline cars have always had really good schemes over the years. Even the Larson and Byron scheme they've had at Hendrick Motorsports when they've ran a Valvoline scheme the last couple of years have been pretty good. Obviously, the Mark Martin ones are classic. I really like his mid-90s car, maybe a little bit more than this, but this is a good one. I like the font on this one a lot better. This is probably my favorite number 6 Mark Martin font in his Roush days. So there you go. Mark Martin, Valvoline from 2000 Ford Taurus. So that is the diecast showing here for stage 1. We'll have one at the end of stage 2 as usual as well. I wanted to give that out and show that to you guys because that was the one I was wanting to show you during the ARCA race. And the reason why I had it during the ARCA race is because he is actually a former winner at Talladega, not only in the Cup Series, but in ARCA as well. That win for Mark Martin in ARCA came back in 1981, just the 3rd ARCA race at Talladega. Balicki, who went fuel only, came back to pit road, and then those top 8 drivers that stayed out of the pits initially also came in after the fact, which I kind of imagined they were going to do that. They probably just wanted to stay out of any sort of harm's way. They're going to be at the back anyway. They're probably going to just tail well behind this lead pack again for stage 2, knowing that they're going to get another caution in about another 20 laps or so. Lap 50 is where we're racing to the end of stage 2. It's going to feel shorter because of the caution laps ran during the stage break. We're only going to have 20 laps to go in stage 2 when we go green. And again, the RCR car's on the front row. Here is Josh Sims with Justin Allgaier out of the infield care center.
Position. What happened from your perspective?
It's so hard to tell. I mean, car was really, really stable all day, and just got down there, and you're trying to hold off all the different lanes that are coming out towards the end of a stage, and obviously Riley's trying to do what he can to get inside there, and it was really weird. It started to pick the back of the car up whenever he got to right there, and then from there it's kind of game over. I hate it for everybody on this 7 ran fresh agriculture soybean car. Such a paint scheme this week, and obviously a lot of fun to what we do with brand and the different types of agriculture that we promote, and unfortunately we're sitting out here not even at the end of the first stage, so it's a disappointing day. I mean, obviously car was fast. Huge thanks to everybody back in the shop, everybody in Chevrolet, Hendrick department. We just not our day.
Glad you're okay.
Those 7 or 8 drivers that had stayed.
Everybody that is at the front of the field pretty much was there at the end of stage 1, had their pit stops, they're in their track position on pit road, and we're back to racing in stage 2. Again, 20 to go in stage 2, green flag back in the air. Following that incident from Justin Allgaier, which bled to the end of stage 1. A lot of pushing up in those front couple rows as they get up to speed on the restart. Austin Hill on the bottom of row 1, Love on the outside of row 1. Chandler Smith was initially pushing the 2, and the 20 right behind him. 4 cars. And the 4 cars that were up near the wall in the back straightaway now moved down in front of Brandon Jones in that middle lane. In the middle of 3 and 4, Austin Hill going to lead the first green flag lap of stage 2, or the 20 rather, for second. Hill jumps up in front of his teammate Jesse Love on the outside, and they'll probably try to control the lanes again up there like they did for the majority of the first stage, as they did successfully. Finishing first and third in stage 1 for RCR, with Love getting it. Ryan Sieg down in front of the 98 of Riley Herbst. Cole Custer just in front of them. Sieg going to try to close the gap between himself and the 00, and those 3 are all nose to tail again. It's been kind of fun to watch that those 3, no matter where they're at, front, middle, or at least keep themselves in contention to have a shot to win the races. Stage points in stage 1 between the 3 of them combined. They're up there now contending for the lead in the early going of stage 2. Couple of the RCR cars in the middle now of Ryan Truex and Chandler Smith. Sieg leads the Dash for Cash drivers in the 6th place position currently. And remember that Justin Allgaier was one of the Dash for Cash drivers, and he was taken out in that incident. So we're down to just 3 of them remaining. AJ Allmendinger is in 10th place, and Sam Mayer in 3rd. Saw this in the very early going of the race as well. And then they kind of tamed out until about the last 2 to 3 laps of the stage, when they got back out to 3 wide racing again. Just got to be careful with the lane changes. And you can't second guess your start. This is second guess yourself. You got to start to make that move and commit to it. Because the longer you wait, the more that hole's going to fill up and something bad could end up happening. Same thing if you're going to make a block. You got to make the first one. The minute you try to make another one, that's going to cause some sort of an incident as well. Truex to the inside of the 21. Door to door for the lead off turn 4. Now 3 wide as Custer gets a surge of momentum on the double yellow line. 3 by 3 all the way through the field. Great job by Custer. Will he move up? He does. Clear at the line. Sieg going to try to side draft the 20. Slows him down a little bit. Ryan Sieg leading the bottom lane. Cole Custer going to go all the way to the middle. He thought about going to the bottom on the 39, but the run wasn't there yet for Ryan Sieg. So Custer stayed right in front of the 20 in that middle groove and back to the outside. Nope, back to the bottom. Now he's going to try to go to the outside, but it's going to be a little too late, and Austin Hill's going to get there after Jesse Love was pushing him most of the way down the backstretch. So now it's Cole Custer, Ryan Sieg, and Riley Herbst still the 3 cars down on the bottom. The JGR Toyota's in the middle of Ryan Truex and Sheldon Creed. Austin Hill, Jesse Love on the outside. Custer's led these last 2 green flag laps now. His first 2 laps led of the race. And now he is going to get stuck on the outside as the 20 and the 39 work with each other. Not really working with each other, but side by side with one another to get by the 00. They side drafted each other so much so off the exit of turn 2 that the momentum is carried again to the outside lane, that third lane near the wall. And Custer's back to the point into turn 3. A lot of cars just gridlocked with nowhere to go outside of the front couple rows that is able to make some lane changes when they're able to get ahead of their respected lines. Then the lane swap, the next car up will move, and everybody else, the 00, 39, the 98, and the 20. Austin Hill and Jesse Love now are about the third or fourth row back, but still leading the outside lane near the wall. Nobody's moved up in front of them. Hill's coming with a big source of speed now. But again, nobody going to pull up in front of Austin Hill and Jesse Love in that outside lane. Sieg leads the way into turns 3 and 4. Custer's still down in the middle, and Ryan Sieg should be able to lead this lap at the line this time by. Side by Sieg leads the race. Riley Herbst second, Cole Custer third, Anthony Alfredo in fourth, Ryan Truex fifth, Austin Hill sixth, Sheldon Creed 14th, Sammy Smith 15th, 16th is Blaine Perkins, Taylor Gray 17th, Matt DiBenedetto 18th, AJ Allmendinger 19th, and Jordan Anderson is up. 26th is David Starr, Kyle Weatherman 27th, Brandon Poole 28th, Kyle Sieg 29th, Joey Gase is 30th, Mason Massey 31st, Cesar Baccarella 32nd, Leland Honeyman 33rd, Haley Deegan 34th, Ryan Ellis 35th, Josh Bilicki 36th, Dawson Cramp 37th, and the only car out of the race today is Justin Allgaier after that crash on the last lap of stage 1 on lap 25. Where he had spun off turn 2, contact with Riley Herbst. Looked like he tried to come down, covered the double yellow line a little too late, turned himself. Hit hard into the inside wall down the backstretch as well for him. So luckily he is okay. Had the interview outside of the infield care center, but again, he is the only driver out, and he's the only one not on the lead lap. Still a lot of 2x2 and 3 wide racing here, and we will then have 11 laps to go in stage 2. So this is going to be about a 9-lap green flag run, and it's been 3 wide ever since. Even a little bit of 4 wide going on in the back of the pack. Some cars that are still 4 wide near contact as one of those drivers tries to get out of the 4 wide mess and squeeze themselves into that third lane in the top. And it worked out. The hole opened up just in time. The Fords of Ryan Sieg and Riley Herbst leading the way at Talladega Superspeedway. Austin Hill, Jesse Love are the 4th and 5th cars in line on the top. They're going to work together to pull off of the outside lane and try to get by the 3 Fords, Herbst and Cole Custer. 10 to go in the stage this time by. Hill's going to get the second. He's probably going to lose Jesse Love if he tries to move to the top this time by. He does move to the top. Love still covers the bottom underneath the 00 of Custer. Custer and Love are side by side for 4th currently. Top 3 single file up near the wall. Hill building a little bit of momentum off the exit of turn 2. May try to pull out a line again. Nope, not yet at least. He's staying right there with Herbst. Jesse Love starting to go backwards now. He's around 7th place. And another move being made by the 81 of Chandler Smith as he goes from behind Custer in 5th to down in front of Jesse Love in that middle groove. There's still 3 wide down on the bottom. Anthony Alfredo leading the inside line down on that double yellow line. But he is just outside the top 10 still in the running order. It tells you how many cars are up ahead of him in the outside lanes, both near the wall and in that middle groove. Hill pulling out a line all the way down to the double yellow to get underneath the 39 of Ryan Sieg, but as he moves up back into the outside, as he couldn't stay door to door with the 39, he did a great job not losing his spot in line to Herbst. Sieg saw that inside line forming up fast. Gets right back in front of Hill after moving to the bottom to cover the 81 of Chandler Smith. Smith and Love leading the inside. Smith to the inside of Ryan Sieg at the very front of the field.
Starter Sports. And right behind him, Parker Kligerman, who had the issue on pit road, had to make a second stop, and he has resurfaced close to the 38 is Matt DiBenedetto, running a limited schedule. And he's had to bounce back from a penalty on that last pit stop, but he too is working his way toward a spot inside the top 10. 8 laps to go, stage 2. Chandler Smith is out front of Austin Hill, Jesse Love, Riley Herbst, and Ryan Truex at Talladega.
So Chandler Smith is leading the way. Full screen commercial break on Fox once again here. Surprised they took a commercial this late in the stage. Again, coming up on 7 to go. Third, Ryan Truex 4th. Ryan Segan 5th. Sheldon Creed 6th. 7th is Riley Herbst. Brandon Jones 8th. Cole Custer 9th. Sam Mayer 10th. Taylor for Patrick Emerly. Sammy Smith 22nd. Blaine Perkins 23rd. Parker Retzlaff 24th. David Starr in 25th. 31st, Cesar Baccarella 32nd. Will they stay green is going to be the question.
Is leading. With that, we get to you. Today's Toyota top performers. 3 of them inside the top 10. Taylor Gray started at the back. So did Sheldon Creed. He's worked his way to 11th. But so much give and take right now at the front of the field. And here comes the move forward down low right there. Brandon Jones in the 9 starting to surface at the front.
That was a great move. He knew that he had his teammate and his teammate was going to be loyal to him. And there they go. They're controlling the road once again on the top.
Jesse Love thought about taking that run. The 21 was pretty far out front. Jesse Love was like, do I take it, do I not? You saw him kind of moving the steering wheel back and forth, and he thought better of it, better to be patient in this situation. Still 3 to go.
I think he's trying to clean the air after what happened in stage 1.
Yeah. I'll just be your wingman, right?
I'll push you to this stage, man.
Yeah.
You forgive me. You know, the middle and bottom, they try to get going, and then someone bails. It makes it 3 wide, and then it hurts that lane a little bit. And they kind of get back their momentum and going again, and then someone bails again, and then it falls back. So it's a matter of how many people can you keep committed, in that non-preferred lane, I'm going to call it, just because it has less cars. So they've been hanging decent. If they can just get 5 or 6 of them really committed to each other, I think they would be able to challenge the leaders here, but they're kind of running out of time, but they need to get going pretty quick. But at this point, though, some guys are going to, start taking that run like A.J. Allmendinger just did, and that'll help that bottom lane. Look at the momentum the 16 has. He's going to drive all the way up to Sieg.
And the 9 is coming strong behind him as well. So, yeah, I mean, you're saying, Ryan, I think that just if these guys were a little bit disciplined to each other, I mean, it would be crazy what they would be able to do. And as I'm saying that, the 5 goes, I don't know if he's running wild or he's trying to...
An engine prop.
AJ's car is fast. I mean, once he pulled out of line, I mean, they really...
There goes 18 again.
1 lap to go in stage 2. Austin Hill leading for right now. Covers the bottom on A.J. Allmendinger. That's going to leave the top open for the 2 of Jesse Love, but not quite going to get to the back bumper as he lifts and lets the 21 back up in front of him. Teammates working together for right now. Down the backstretch. 3 wide forming from 7th on back. Sheldon Creed's got a run on the WL line. Not a lot of help. Allmendinger door-to-door with the race leader now of Austin Hill. Hill with a big push now from Jesse Love. Another big push coming to A.J. Allmendinger from the 9 of Brandon Jones. Middle of the corner, Parker Kligerman behind the 9 in the middle as he gets split 3 wide and tight with the 39 and the 20 surrounding him. Hill pulls to the inside to block the 16 off turn 4. Wins stage 2 at Talladega. 1-2 finish in the stage for RCR as Love beat Allmendinger by a nose for second. So Austin Hill wins stage 2 as both of the RCR cars win a stage today. Hill winning stage 2. Jesse Love winning stage 1, 4th stage win of the year in stage 1 for Love, and the 2nd stage win of the year in stage 2 for Hill. All on super speedways for both of those cars. No surprise compared to the speed that we've seen out of those cars so far on the super speedways this season. We know Austin Hill to be a good super speedway racer. Jesse Love doing the same here right there with them this year. And again, 1-2 at the end of the stage. A.J. Allmendinger was 3rd in stage 2, Ryan Sieg 4th, Brandon Jones 5th, Chandler Smith 6th, Parker Kligerman 7th, Riley Herbst 8th, Jeb Burton 9th, Cole Custer rounds out the top 10. Ryan Truex in 11th, Taylor Gray in 12th, Shane Van Gisbergen in 13th, 14th place for Sheldon Creed, 15th for Jeremy Clements for that stage. So 50 laps in the books here, meaning that this race is official now that we need an end of the night, that it shouldn't impact the finish of this Xfinity race, but in case it does, this race again will be deemed official. 50 likes on the stream so far. Be sure to hit that like button if you guys haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. It is time for the second diecast showing of the day. And the reason why it's the second is, again, because I didn't show it during the ARCA race earlier. So we'll get that second one in right now. Had the Mark Martin diecast, former Talladega winner. Got another former Talladega Cup winner. And I think he might have even won an Xfinity race in his career at Talladega as well. You have to let me know in the chat if that's the case. But he definitely won a Cup race here, 2012. In the fall, it is a Matt Kenseth 2009 diecast, the same car he won the Daytona 500 with. It is missing a piece on the wing. It broke on me when I first bought it. Actually, no, I bought it like this. That's how I got it as cheap as I did. It was $10. I got it marked down because of the missing a piece. I mean, it was like a ridiculously small piece, and it didn't come in the box anyway, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll get it, because if I were to pay, a regular price for this diecast, it definitely wouldn't be $10, so it'd be worth it. And I've always liked Matt Kenseth's DeWalt scheme, the DeWalt schemes over the years. A lot of the tool paint schemes have always looked good. I've always liked the Irwin schemes too over the years, but yeah, this one definitely like. So this is my again, kind of fitting. And that is the diecast showing for. Take the camera off now as we've got pit stops for the second time.
The winner said that car's a little darty on exit. They're going to make a chassis and air pressure adjustment to help him out. As far as the 39 of Ryan Sieg, he said the car is still a little bit too free, so they're going to also make an adjustment to help him. Regan?
16 of AJ Allmendinger is pretty good. A little bit too free off of turns 2, and the 2 of Jesse Love just can't get through the bubble to get to the bumper of the 21 car.
Race off pit road, and well, we had some guys going in the wrong direction, including the 21 of Austin Hill. Jesse Love first off. Brandon Jones +3. Good work by the 81 team for Chandler Smith and Parker Kligerman. A few guys stayed out again. We'll reset everything for the final stage at Talladega next on Fox.
Everybody in the top 10 in the race off pit road all gained at least one position there. Quite a few drivers falling outside of the top 10 with slower pit stops, 4 tires maybe versus 2 in some cases. But this is not the final stop of the race. They will have to pit for fuel purposes at some point once again, as we still have about 62 laps to go. Full fuel window is just under 40 laps. Well, 35 to 38 laps for a full tank of gas at Talladega with these Xfinity Series cars. So they'll be running just past the halfway mark of this stage before having to pit under green. Maybe we'll see them split it in half in some cases, but see how it works out for them. Had some cars stay out of the pits again. I would imagine that they will pit the following lap by, just as we saw back in stage 1. I guess the dash for cash for the Xfinity Series continues in their next race at Dover. I thought this might have been the last one. I guess there's 4. I knew it was 4, but I was thinking it was dash for cash after coverage of the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Jesse Love, who won the race out of the pits, will get the restart with the lead after finishing second in stage 2, first in stage 1. Love scores the most stage points of any driver so far today. He was top 5 in points coming in, so looking to build off of that. And maybe, just maybe, get that first. A few drivers trying to go for the first career Xfinity win that are up in the top portion of the field right now. You got Taylor Gray in the top 10, Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman, Jesse Love, all drivers in the top 10 in the running order. Bigger name in recent weeks of those without that win, of course, Ryan Sieg, who came oh so close to his first career win last week at Texas. 2 1,000ths of a second off of race winner Sam Mayer after he was leading coming to the white flag in the few laps before that, but could not capture the checkered flag. Sieg currently in 14th today and has already led laps in this one. Several different drivers have led laps. In fact, the most is by Austin Hill, 32 laps led. Our current race leader, Jesse Love, has led Sieg. Matt DiBenedetto and Jordan Anderson both led lap under caution. So 8 different drivers have led at least one lap in the race today. And we've had 12 lead changes through the first 2 stages on top before caution bled into the... So those are the only 2 cautions we've had. Our average race speed still up over 150 miles an hour to this point. Almost an hour into this one. Just shy of the halfway mark. Jesse Love with a 6/10 of a second lead under caution. About as big of a lead as you're going to get at Talladega. As calm of one as well. Unless you're leading in an ARCA race at Talladega like today, then in that case it might be a little easier. But as easy as it comes for the green flag stops. They have a Wendy's in the infield in Talladega. It's got to be like a makeshift one, I would imagine. Just with them sponsoring the colleague cars in the Cup Series this weekend. Probably going to get a plethora of Wendy ads, just like we did at Daytona in the 500 earlier this season with like 30 to go in the race. And they ran like 3 Wendy's ads back to back to back in the late going. I would imagine they'll probably do that again tomorrow. Hopefully it's not in the final 20 to 30 laps of the race like it was in the race of the year. Hey, come on. Especially when it was the same ads that they ended up airing during the Xfinity race. Like, well, I guess that was later that night. Maybe it was like during qualifying or something. I thought I remember seeing those ads prior to the Daytona 500. Just not 3 in a row like they did during the 500. But I remember seeing them separately throughout the course of the weekend leading up to that race on that Monday evening. All right, so the green flag in the air, and we are underway for stage 3 at the baddest racetrack on the circuit. And the biggest, at least by way of the ovals. That remain in it. Justin Allgaier, again, out of the race, was one of the contenders for the $100,000 bonus. Sam Mayer is in 8th, AJ Allmendinger 10th, and Ryan Sieg 14th on the restart. We're at lap 56 of 113. Oh boy, Austin Hill tried to get to the outside immediately. There was no hole there. He had to stop himself from door slamming the car to his outside. Allowed for a couple other cars to move up in front of him in the middle groove as he had to lose a little bit of momentum. While his teammate Jesse Love continues to lead the way off of turn 4. Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, and Ryan Truex, 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas, all in line behind the Chevrolet for RCR of Jesse Love at the very front of the field. Seeing some RCR cars dominate here today. We saw a couple of them qualify earlier today. 2, Dylan in the row behind him in row 3. And also congratulations to Michael McDowell for qualifying on the pole for the 2nd time in his Cup career and the 2nd of the season. 3 front row starts for McDowell in the first 3 super speedway races for the Cup Series. As far as this Xfinity Series race, though, you got one of the pole sitters, Jesse Love, early started on the outside of the front row. For winning stage 2, still up in contention. His teammate, Austin Hills, not quite getting through the traffic as quickly as he would have liked to begin stage 2, but he's lurking. On the inside lane, it actually gets underneath of Jesse Love, who is fading on the top. 81, not really able to get close to the back bumper of Love, given the pushes needed to keep that outside lane moving. And the 3 cars who took control of the bottom of Brandon Jones, Parker Kligerman, and Austin Hill now move all to the outside in front of Jesse Love. Hill thought about pulling out a line into the middle groove, but Ryan Sieg was already there. Now Sieg goes to the bottom groove on the double yellow line, so the middle is open if Hill chooses to take it off turn 4. His teammate Jesse Love may very well go with him, but now the gap closes as Sieg moves from the bottom to the middle to side draft Parker Kligerman in the 48. Door open down on the bottom again. Slamming it shut was Jeb Burton, but he gets booted out of line by the 8 of Sammy Smith. 4 wide coming out of the tri-oval into turn 1. As they try to get reorganized. Sieg has lost some ground. Really, the bottom 2 lanes entirely have pretty much lost ground. Brandon Jones, Parker Kligerman, Austin Hill, Jesse Love, and Chandler Smith, the top 5. Lap 59. 54 laps to go, just past halfway. And Sieg now the only Dash for Cash driver in the top 20. Sam Mayer and AJ Allmendinger really fell behind on this restart. 22nd and 23rd are the 16 and the 1 cars. Jeb Burton rocketing to the back of the 32 of Jordan Anderson, his teammate and team owner for this race. That extra Jordan Anderson racing car, having 3 of them this weekend with the boss running. Brandon Jones leading the way. Doesn't have any junior motorsport cars around him. Does have a couple of Chevys right in line behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Chevy and a Ford in the top 5. Highest Toyota in the running order is Chandler Smith in 7th. And then you got the other Toyotas in 9th, 10th, and 11th. All for Joe Gibbs Racing as well. So they are in the top dozen, just the back half of which. Ryan Sieg pulls back to the inside of Parker Kligerman for 2nd place. Him and Sammy Smith have done a great job. And Sieg's got a fast car because he's pulled some lines. I'd say of the Fords, he's probably got the fastest. His car's able to pull a line a lot better than Cole Custer or Riley Herbst was able to do in the first 2 stages. And even in stage 2 for Sieg, he was able to get to the lead on the bottom, swung to the top, led 6 laps before losing the lead towards the end of the stage to Austin Hill and Jesse Love. Hill and Love are boxed in the top side of the racetrack right now. About the 4th and 5th cars there. Sieg is back to the lead again at Talladega as he clears high on Brandon Jones. And now that leaves the junior motorsport Chevys as Sammy Smith and Brandon Jones to run side by side for 2nd. Smith now carries the momentum. On the bottom, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 97 right behind him. And Ryan Sieg door to door in those outer lanes. 2 by 2 through the entirety of stage 3 so far. And yet now he does. So Sammy Smith leads 3 wide. Jordan Anderson to the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to squeeze his way up towards the front of the field is Anderson. Jeb Burton going with him from behind. And Shane Van Gisbergen in the 97 car now to the inside of Sammy Smith for the race lead. Ryan Sieg boxed in the 2nd car in line on the top. Austin Hill moves to the middle groove with Jesse Love as they find a hole. And the RCR car is trying to dart for it. Sieg got a 2nd, quickly pulls out of line, trying to retake the lead from Sammy Smith. Smith goes down to side draft to 39. Hill and Love back up behind Hill. He had space to do so. He actually ended up side drafting Hill in the left rear corner panel instead, pulled him back a bit. And for the first time today, it's Shane Van Gisbergen leading a lap at Talladega as he's out in front. Sammy Smith trying to get one. Simon continues to lead at Talladega. Full screen commercial break on Fox. We'll go through the full field running order with 49 laps to go. Again, Sammy Smith out in front at Talladega in the Ag Pro 300. Austin Hill 2nd. Shane Van Gisbergen 3rd. Brandon Jones 4th. Ryan Sieg 5th. Parker Kligerman 6th, Jordan Anderson 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, Jesse Love 9th, and Ryan Truex rounds out the top 10. Jeb Burton at 11, Chandler Smith 12th, Jeremy Clements 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, Taylor Gray 15th, Kyle Weatherman 16th, Sam Mayer 17th, Patrick Emerly 18th, 19th is Cole Custer, and Riley Herbst is 20th. 21st for Parker Retzlaff A.J. Allmendinger is 22nd. Josh Williams, 23rd. David Starr, 24th. Blaine Perkins, 25th. 26th for Matt DiBenedetto. Leland Honeyman, 27th. Brendan Poole, 28th. Kyle Sieg, 29th. Cesar Baccarella in 30th. Mason Massey, 31st. Ryan Ellis, 32nd. Joey Gase, 33rd. Haley Deegan, 34th. Josh Bilicki, 35th. Dawson Cram, 36th. Jeffrey Earnhardt, 37th. Jeffrey Earnhardt actually ended up pulling off the racetrack 19 laps ago, so Jeffrey is 19 laps down and out of the race, and 37th. And then Justin Allgaier, of course, crashed out on the last lap of stage 1 at lap 24. So Allgaier will end up finishing in last. We are under caution for the first time today for incidents not resulting in the end of a stage. Technically our second incident with Justin Allgaier getting taken out. We got a couple cars that were at the front of the field that are involved. Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, and maybe more.
Good race car, some of our top contenders. Major damage for Jeremy Clements. Saw the night of Brandon Jones. His window net is down. We're just singing his praises. Had led 4 laps today.
I believe the 20 got a little bit of right front damage too. Possibly the 16 we're hearing. Oh yeah, the 20 he's destroyed. Right front suspension broke.
Yeah, that guy is destroyed. You know, guys, I mean, I'm not surprised he was...
the one, Dash for Cash, or Sam Mayer.
Yeah, so that's 2 of our Dash for Cash guys. 4 junior motorsports cars have been involved in an accident today. You saw the damage there for A.J. Allmendinger, courtesy of our Celsius onboard camera. And there's a look from outside the 16. Now the replay of what happened to put us under caution.
Yeah, Brandon's trying to figure out where the 39's going. 48.
Oh!
I just deal that the 39 went to the middle and the 48 was going to the middle as well at the same time when it was clear for both of them.
Yeah.
And they just click.
Yeah, the middle was clear for a moment, right? And I'm sure Parker's spotter and 39 spotter saying middle's open, and then right as that happened, they just kind of collided. So I don't think there's no bad block there. There's just 2 guys going for the same space, and they didn't know it closed as quick as it did.
Yeah, it's very tricky. It's very, very, very tricky. I don't think that anyone did anything wrong. It was just one of those things that they just came to the same line at the same time, pretty much.
Wasn't too long before that happened that Austin Hill had made an aggressive move to get back out front. If he doesn't do that, he could very well have been right in the middle of this. As it stands, he is the race leader, and Sammy Smith, who was right behind him and also led a couple of laps today, is able to get through unscathed.
You know who got extremely lucky right there? The 48. The 48, and the 39 too.
And the 39,
well,
yeah.
Sheldon Creed, I mean, he was right behind Jones when he spun up. Yeah. He's able to drive through. Sam Mayer goes low trying to avoid it all and just gets caught.
Right there with the 91, and you can see the tires on the 16. I mean, he's pretty much locked. There's nothing else he could have done there.
Ooh, Josh Williams in the grass, missed it all. Really good job by Josh.
He was in the 11. Matt DiBenedetto with some damage late in the 38. Leland Honeyman Jr. was also there in the 42. Let's ride now with Cole Custer. This is our Ford Performance onboard camera.
Gas brake, gas brake, gas brake. That's chaos happening in front of Cole, and he and his spotter did a good job of that.
Wrecking up ahead, back it down, back it down, back it down, stay low, 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 watch it come down the track, one inside, one inside, one inside, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down.
Did you guys hear the last little and he went to the throttle just a little bit where he thought there was a hole? That was probably the difference on that little impact. Now, it wasn't a hard wreck, but hard enough to kill the nose.
A lot of these times, people are wrecking, and cars normally come down the banking, but you don't know where these cars are going, right? It's not like you can pick and choose, oh, this car's going to go this way, that way. These cars are out of control, spinning. The drivers aren't driving them anymore, so it's super hard to guess where these guys are going, but unfortunately, some cars tore up.
The big one at Talladega under the most recent commercial break. Looks like that ended up transpiring at lap 65. All the drivers involved would include Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clement, Sam Mayer, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Sieg, Ryan Truex, Kyle Weatherman, AJ Allmendinger, Matt DiBenedetto, Leland Honeyman, and Sheldon Creed were all the drivers involved in this accident. Some with much more damage, of course, than others. 11 cars in total were involved. 36 laps led for Austin so far. He has led the most after starting on the pole in this race as well. Once again, be sure to hit the like button. Our goal is to get to 100 likes on the stream. So again, 100 likes is our goal on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button. Got well more than that many people currently watching. 62 of you have hit that like button. Lloyd Barnes, Andy F., Random 275, Texas Beecham, Kenneth Clark. Many other newcomers here into the chat recently. Greatly appreciated. Karen Williams. I was going to say, I think we got people storming the chat out of nowhere. We got a lot of new people in here all of a sudden. CeeLo. I'll have to look it up. Have to look it up after the stream's done. Greatly appreciated, everyone. Tuning in. Smashing the like button. Subscribe as well. Big Bun, thanks for tuning in. We got a huge stream raid going on right now. I greatly appreciate it, though. Any sort of like lagginess in the stream that we had a few weeks ago down, I'll turn it on here and there throughout the course of it, but I can't leave it on just to keep it from lagging for you guys, giving you the best experience possible. Got pit stops as we're approaching the fuel window to make it to the end.
Make adjustments for the 21 of Austin Hill. He's happy with that car now, and as you see, fuel only for the 21 and for the 39 of Ryan Sieg. Same thing. They said we want 3 seconds of fuel. Make it quick as they check out the front right of that car as well. Regan.
Expect an extended pit stop for Parker Kligerman. They are going to work on the left front. It does have a hole. They want to get that patched up. And the 8 car, Sammy Smith, wants to do whatever they have to have a quick stop, which looks like fuel only a little bit loose on entry for him.
First off pit road, the fuel only stop. Austin Hill maintains his position. +6 for Chandler Smith. Sammy Smith lost a spot to him. Ryan Sieg, no extra time. I wondered if they would have damage. Evidently not. He comes off in the top 5 as well. Got to be right around 40 laps to go when we get the restart at Talladega.
Again, we are under caution for the 3rd time today after a lap 65 11-car incident. Not all of them DNFing, obviously, from that crash, but the few that we do know for a fact that will not return to this race, taken out of this race. Josh Williams, Sheldon Creed, AJ Allmendinger still on the track right now on the lead lap, but they do have to surpass the damaged vehicle policy clock to be able to continue on. On the go, CeeLo. Thanks for tuning in. Keegan would love to talk to you off stream. Yeah, hey, man, for sure. You can message me on Instagram. I'll look for it. I don't think my notifications are on right now. I could turn them on. Greatly appreciate it, though. Custer in the 00, he is... Well, we'll have to wait for this because we had some cars stay out of the pits. There were a couple drivers that stayed out. 7 stuff to come back in. So, yeah, there you go. 8th place, it looks like. I mean, I'd actually say 7th. DiBenedetto maybe stayed out an extra lap longer. So 7th or 8th is where Custer's going to be on this restart. We'll have around 40 laps. Stream's lagging. I don't have any lag currently. Not when the camera's off, at least. Might have been just a quick buffer, potentially. I think something's gone on with the Wi-Fi in my apartment over the last several weeks. But yeah, no, appreciate everybody tuning in here. I think that's the first time my stream's ever been rated before, as far as I know, at least. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Breaking up every 5 seconds.
Care Center, a strong day for you guys up until that wreck. What happened from your perspective?
Gosh, I hate this for Menards. It's been a rough past couple weeks, but the speed's there, and unfortunately, I think what it takes here to be good is aggressive moves right here, and I don't know, right? Kind of. Oh, he got turned. 39 got turned by the 48. It looked like, or yeah, vice versa. But gosh, it just you have to be aggressive, and the only way to be aggressive is to get up front, right, somehow, and then learn how to play those lanes a little bit and work the lanes back and forth. I mean, that's the whole key to this race is just figuring that part out, and then the only time you can practice it is in the race. That's the only time. So we did a great job, I think, of getting our car positioned right there at the end to make those moves and to do things like that. Now I just hope that no fluke winner wins this thing, gets locked in, to the first round here. But we've got some great tracks coming up still. I know I keep saying that, but Dover's always a great track for me. We've got coming up. So we'll close the book. We'll take what we did right from this one. We'll see what we did wrong. But I think all in all, this was a solid day. I wish we could finish it out. That's all we're missing here is just to finish these races out. We got the speed. So yeah, I look forward to the next couple coming up.
Thanks, Brandon.
Brandon Jones done for the day. Jeremy Clements also released from the Care Center. Had that cycle of stops. A couple of pit road penalties, one for the 31 of Parker Retzloff, and the 19 of Taylor Gray also penalized. Starting to thin out the pack just a little bit, and we've eliminated some really good drivers in the draft. And you look at our scoring pile. Let's get to know more about driver 39.
Hi, I'm Ryan Sieg, driver of the 39 Psyops Ford. I'm from Buford, Georgia. When I was younger, they called me Rhino. That's my nickname. It's a family operation. We're all there every day. Kyle and I, my mom and dad. It mean a lot to get the first win with them. Plus, we have 100,000 reasons to win the race and win that dash for cash.
It would be poetic justice if 1 week after what he experienced last Saturday at Texas, he comes back here and what's not too far from his hometown, and he wins at Talladega and takes home an additional $100,000.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Momentum and good energy is real, and they have it right now. They did everything right last week, and they were extremely, extremely close to do it, and it would be a beautiful story, for him to get the first win here in Talladega, close to his hometown, and then on top of that, to get $100,000.
Yeah, oh, for sure. The 16 is, Allmendinger still on the lead lap. I'm not 100% sure how speedy his car is going to be. It looks like there's a lot of repair work on that thing, but you never know.
Sam Mayer has been released from the Care Center, same for Ryan Truex. Coming up next on Fox, the United Football League continues with hard-hitting action as the Michigan Panthers battle the San Antonio Brahmas, or the DC Defenders take on the Birmingham Stallions. Check local listings for the game in your area.
What is a Brahma, Adam?
A Brahma bull.
It's a bull. Okay.
I mean,
I didn't know. I was legitimately asking.
I hope I'm right in that. Now that you've asked me on network television, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
That speaks to the United Football League. You wouldn't just go with the Bulls. You want to go and be a Brahmin, right?
Right. Yeah. A specific type of bull.
That's right.
Yeah, it's The Rock. He's the Brahma Bull. No wonder they're the Brahma Bulls in the UFL League. He owns the league now. Green flag is in the air. We're back to racing with 41 laps to go at Talladega in this NASCAR Xfinity Series event. Austin Hill still leading the way. Ryan Sieg, who has also led laps on the inside of row 1. And racing into turns 1 and 2. Great push down on the bottom lane for Cole Custer to the back of the 39. Austin Hill got hung out to dry by Riley Herbst, who jumped to the bottom behind the 3 Fords he's been working with all day. They now moved to the outside lane, at least a couple of them. Herbst was not able to get up in front of the 21, but the 00 and the 39 were. And now it is Cole Custer who leads this race. I think it might be a Wi-Fi issue. I think buffering on my apartment right now, because it seems like my YouTube TV is lagging too. So if there is any sort of issue with the stream lagging, I thought for a second it might have been OBS again, but it is not. I think it's just the internet here. I don't have any control of it, unfortunately, living where I do. Oh my goodness, this is extremely tight. 4 wide through the tri-oval. Near contact made around Austin Hill, Anthony Alfredo, Chandler Smith, Parker Kligerman's right around there. The 81 of Chandler Smith is there. And Hill somehow finds his way out of the middle of it down to the double yellow line. I don't know how he did that, but he did. Made a pass around Josh Williams, who's kind of hung out from the middle groove. Hill goes from the middle 4 wide to out of the middle down to the double yellow line, back to the middle groove again, and he's now the 3rd car in line in that middle lane, and now the caution is out again. Debris on the back straightaway.
At the end of stage 2, and a big one moments ago that involved 12 cars. Will step aside.
Wow.
When you have crashes, cars aren't all pieced together. You get more cautions with the debris.
Declan flew off the back of a car at the tail end of the lead pack. I couldn't tell exactly who that was, but I would imagine it was from damage following the big one that happened just before this most recent race start. So we got a few laps of green flag racing in there, about 3 before the caution came out. Riley Herbst was able to take over the race lead before the yellow flag waved at lap 74 once again. Little under an hour and a half following the drop of the green flag from this one. Be sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't done so yet. Our goal was to get to 100 likes on the stream. We are at 90. We should be able to get there, but definitely be able to hit that like button. It helps these streams out a ton. Subscribe if you're new as well. We got a lot of new viewers in here. Greatly appreciate CeeLo for sending all you guys over here. We just hit the 5,000 subscriber threshold last weekend on the channel. So looking to build on our goal to 10K on the channel here. We got live commentary every NASCAR Xfinity, Truck Series, and Cup Series race, as well as Cup practice and qualifying every NASCAR race weekend. We had an ARCA race stream earlier. Don't usually do ARCA, but we did that one-off race here for Talladega with the trucks being off this week. And I believe all 3 series will be back in action at Dover next weekend. And I think the Truck Series race is like a Friday at like 5 at Truck Series. And I'll let you guys know on that as we get further into the weekend, into tomorrow's race, as for what the start times will be for next weekend's streams. Because off the top of my head, I don't even know when the practice and qualifying is for the Cup Series Saturday. I would imagine it's probably early in the morning again. But I will have all the start times for next weekend's stream at some point during the course of the stream tomorrow. I'll probably update you a couple times and in the community.
The pre-show kicks things off to Eastern time, then the green flag flies at 3 Eastern. It's tomorrow on Fox. Under caution for the 4th time today for the Xfinity Series. Let's go to Josh.
Sam Mayer released from the care center, and Sam, at all, could you feel that starting to build before the wreck happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Kevin on top of the roof, like we made the choice to go to the bottom, like just a lap. Our first back in Alabama Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity Internet, that's for sure. We were able to make good moves to the front. Made a couple bad choices, got shuffled back, but overall solid day. Everything that I learned since Daytona was working today, so it's got to be a little bit better, and then we'll be there.
Thanks, Sam. Glad you're okay.
For Sam Mayer, it will be his 4th DNF of 2024 in 9 races. That's the bad news. The good news is, by winning last week, he's locked into the playoffs, so he can breathe easy, right?
That's why he got a smile.
That's right. Yeah,
he was the only guy that after wrecking had a smile.
How could you not be smiling even a week removed from what happened last Saturday at Texas?
Yeah, that was a great day for him. Yeah, I mean, I think we still have a lot of laps to go. Racing is going to continue to be intense. We have 25 cars that can still win the race, and I'm really looking forward to see, the RCR cars, man. They're still there. They're still very, very close, strong in the top 10. So let's see how they can find together and go to the front.
I'm curious for the two of you. This race had found a rhythm. A lot of green flag racing, stage 1 and stage 2. Now you get to the final stage. You have a couple of cautions. You get some restarts. The players at the front are starting to change a little bit. How difficult to regather, get your rhythm back, and then get set for the stretch run?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that changes, you see a handful of cars coming to top off with gas. Just restarts, all right? We have to choose here, right? So where are you going to choose? Who's around you? You're kind of picking out right now of who's going to pick what lane. That might dictate what lane I want to jump into. Maybe you try to get into a lane that has a little bit better cars. Regan, what do you got on the 8?
Well, Ryan, you mentioned that these guys are coming to top off on gas right now to make sure they're good to the end of the race in case there's a green-white checker. Decision was easy for crew chief Adam Waldo to do this as we were coming to the green last time. They got a penalty and had to drop to the back of the pack, so nothing to lose right now. I need to tell the team, car is very good, no concerns about getting back up through.
Yeah, they got that penalty under the last caution when they made the pit stop. So you lose the track position, you might as well come back and ensure you're good on fuel. And, you see them working the game. You want to save as much as you can. This caution, though, should go a long way in making sure all these drivers can make it. And I would say maybe even with an overtime, as long as it's not extended too far, they should be in decent shape based on the numbers we heard earlier today.
Yeah, those guys are definitely plenty good on fuel. And then you have the other group of guys that stay out, like Jeff, Shane, Austin Hill, that these guys are saving as much as they can just in case. Because remember, it's very common here to have overtime. 1, 2, 3 restarts. And right now they can make it, but how many overtime restarts can they make with that amount of fuel? That's the question.
The race leader is Riley Herbst. Here's 98 radio.
And I couldn't pull the wheel right for some reason. Everything else still okay there? I don't know, the reaction from the wheel to my steering wheel is really, really slow.
Hey, at least look fast there.
I know it's good, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, so it seems like that problem he was talking about earlier, it's still there, right? It's probably something in the steering rack or whatever, that's just kind of not working correctly 100%. I mean, he's been able to do a good job with it, but he's talking about he can't really turn the wheel right as fast as he wants to, or maybe he's not confident enough in doing it. And that might play a factor coming down to the end of this thing. If you have to make a late block, a quick decision, how can you change 2 or 3 lanes quick and tug on the steering wheel and not have to second guess your decision? Because that could be the difference between winning the race or getting shuffled out and running in the back.
Off the top today, we shared that thrilling finish in Atlanta when Suarez got the win. So we got to give a little love to Blaney now and all the success you've had right here at Talladega. When you win, they are tight, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't plan them on being that way. Not at all. And I mean, gosh, you just at the end of these things, you're I've been kind of both ways. I've been leading them. I've been second or third, and you're just trying to either block or figure out a way to get a good run. And I've been really lucky here to have won 3 times, especially by that close. I mean, it could go either way, but really fortunate. But fast cars, good communication and execution, and then we've made the right decisions at the right time to be lucky enough to win a few times. So.
You say lucky, but in reality, you build your own luck, right? You have put yourself in that position. And yeah, maybe you've been in the good side because you have won it by that close. And I was in the good side in Atlanta the same way, but you have put yourself in those positions, and that has been very good.
It's funny how different tracks, like, you have better fortune at others. Like Talladega, we seem to have done no wrong here the last few years. In Daytona, I don't think I eat the fence there every time I go there, like the last 3 years. And I have no idea. I don't do anything different. It's how these racetracks work out, So it's funny when we talk about favorites and stuff like that coming to these races. You never know what can happen. Your favorite could get tore up. Your favorite could miss a block by a half a second, and it just costs them. So that's why these races are fun to watch and be a part of, because there's so many people that can win on that given weekend if they execute well.
You think about Martin Truex Jr. He's a champion. He's never won in the draft. But the first 3 times he came here to Talladega in the Xfinity Series, he won. He's the all-time wins leader in an Xfinity car at Talladega Super Speedway. So the draft gives, and it does, in fact, take away. Going to get the restart here. 35 laps to go. Front row, a couple of Fords. Riley Herbst, Ryan Sieg.
I was just thinking about that. You know, those two Fords are very, very fast, and they are all in the top 5. These guys are going to try to find.
35 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Riley Herbst inside of row 1. One of the first times that the control car has actually taken the inside on the restart. It's been kind of 50-50 whether the top or bottom wins these things anyway, but maybe liking whoever he was going to have on the bottom lane behind him. I think it was more the two cars on the outside than the car in line behind him. Jesse Love was pushing the 39 as they got up to the restart, but it didn't seem like the 39 and the 00 held back a little bit to try to get Riley Herbst out in front. And that is the case right now. The car you have to look out for is Austin Hill back in 5th. You know he's going to want to try to make a move whenever he can. He's got his teammate behind him in the middle groove, and as soon as he had a chance to move down in front of Jesse Love, he took that opportunity and now is going with it. But though Love and Hill are going to get separated by the 5 of Anthony Alfredo, who now moves in line behind Austin Hill, and Hill is shot out of a cannon off turn 4. He gets to the inside of Ryan Sieg. Sieg's going to side draft him, and that is going to allow Riley Herbst to stay out in front. Shane Van Gisbergen leads the bottom lane. Hill still in the middle groove. Herbst leads the first lap following the restart as the 39 pushes him off into turn 1. Did not take long for the field to go 3 by 3 once again on this restart. Austin Hill to the inside of Riley Herbst, for the lead. And Ryan Sieg to push that 98 again. A lot of separation between the 21 and the 5, and Hill is losing a ton of ground on the backstretch. Top 4 cars on the outside lane near the wall are clear of Austin Hill. And Shane Van Gisbergen, who was leading that double yellow line and was side-by-side 3 wide, in fact, for second a lap ago off turn 4, has now fallen outside of the top 10. Lack of numbers in that middle groove. All of those cars that primarily were in the middle are now down on the double yellow line, taking the shortest way around the racetrack. The 3 Fords of Herbst, Sieg, and Custer continue to stay nose to tail as they have from pretty much lap 1 to lap 80. And Austin Hill and Jesse Love are only separated by 1 car between them, which is still the 5 of Anthony Alfredo, and that pretty much has been since the back straightaway on the first lap, getting up to speed on the restart where Hill moved down in front of Jesse Love, pulled him a little bit too much to the fact that the 5 squeezed in there. But Hill, we know, has a fast enough car to get up there. Can he get the pushes, though, from Anthony Alfredo to help him along the way? Because the numbers game is definitely going to the outside. There are only 5 cars down on the bottom that are nose to tail behind Austin Hill. Well, Hill's one of them, and then 4 behind him. 32 to go at the start-finish line. And again, it is Riley Herbst in the lead. Ryan Sieg scored second that last time by at the line. Cole Custer third. Austin Hill fourth. Parker Kligerman fifth. Anthony Alfredo sixth. Josh Williams seventh. Sheldon Creed eighth. Jesse Love ninth. Sammy Smith is 10th. So those are all the drivers that are in contention for the race lead as of right now. And drivers who were taken out of the second to last incident again was Sam Mayer, Ryan Truex, Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements. The only driver in the Dash for Cash running of the 4 that came into this one that has a realistic shot of winning it still is Ryan Sieg, who's second in the race. And again, he's first in the Dash for Cash. The other drivers were involved in incidents. 2 of them are out. Allgaier and Mayer are out. 36th, 38th place finishes for those 2. And AJ Allmendinger's got significant damage, though is still in the lead pack somehow in 24th. So AJ not out of the Dash for Cash, $100,000 winning. If Sieg gets into an even bigger accident here and can't move on further into the race, if something like that happens, then AJ Allmendinger can still win the Dash for Cash. But by way of speed, it's going to be very difficult for that 16 car to move through the field. Although, again, I'm surprised he's even staying in the lead pack, let alone, in contention for this. So still a 2-horse race nonetheless. 30 to go this time by. An aggressive side draft by Riley Herbst off of turn 4 as he was hugging the 21 car tight to that double yellow line. A 3-wide move now in the middle of the tri-oval by Sammy Smith as he pulls behind a couple other Chevys trying to get around Jordan Anderson in the 32. Couple Toyotas in line in the middle groove. Right behind Anderson. Chandler Smith being one of them. Jesse Love going to give a push to the 5 of Anthony Alfredo. Love was getting pushed simultaneously as well by Jordan Anderson. Alfredo did not quite get to the back bumper of the 21, though. It was all raw speed there, full throttle for Austin Hill, just pulling that line of cars behind him up into contention. Shane Van Gisbergen, who was leading the bottom moments ago, is now about the 6th car in the outside lane near the wall. Looked like he might have been able to slip to the outside of Sheldon Creed before the hole closed up too soon off turn 4. They are still 3 wide somewhat in the back half of the top 10 to just outside the top 10, but not all the way through the field like we've seen at different times throughout the race today. Jesse Love's the lead car in the middle group, but he's right around 9th, 10th place right now, so the front 4 or 5 rows of cars on the very top and the very bottom of the racetrack are clear of Jesse Love currently. Just so much speed down that back straightaway in particular. The exit of turn 2, really getting the run off the banking to the corner off the high side near the wall to the very flatness of the backstretch. Don't get as much of a run off turn 4 onto the front stretch as those cars on the bottom because the banking transition on the back straightaway is a lot more than what it is on the front stretch leading into the tri-oval. Well, Austin Hill still lost ground that time through the front stretch. Parker Kligerman moved up in front of the 21 of Austin Hill as soon as he had a chance to, so now Kligerman's going to try to lead this second line. Haven't really seen Herbst be a great lead car in a line today until now. It seemed to me, at least in the first 2 stages and even the early going to stage 3, that Ryan Sieg, in my personal opinion, had the fastest of the 3 Fords between himself, Custer, and Herbst. That it just seemed like he was able to lead a line at the front of the field a lot better, but Herbst is doing a great job of it now. He's getting great pushes and coordination from behind from Sieg and Custer. Hill also trying to push the 48 of Kligerman. Now a bigger gap built between the 00 and the 39. That could be what Kligerman and Hill need to get this bottom lane to the front in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and it is working. That was a massive push Hill gave to the back of the 48 getting into turn 3. Kligerman did a great job of it. Not too aggressive at the side draft on the back straightaway that time. Herbst is still clear for the lead into turn 3. The question is does he go to the bottom and try to make a block? No, he's going to stay to the outside. Kligerman's going to pull back alongside Herbst in the middle of 3 and 4 again. Not a major push this time from Austin Hill, at least yet. We'll see off the exit of the corner if he gets to the back of the 48. He does. He pushes him into the tri-oval. Bumper out ahead of the 48. If he has a chance to clear up, will he do it? To the start-finish line, 26 laps to go. Parker Kligerman leads, and I believe that is the first lap he has led today. Looking back at it, yes, it is the first lap Parker Kligerman has led here this afternoon. Him and Hill pulling to the outside in front of the 3 Fords of Herbst, Sieg, and Custer. And now Hill to get a push from behind by the 98 of Riley Herbst. Hill not going to do anything with it now. Jesse Love and Anthony Alfredo are the lead 2 cars down on the bottom. Parker Retzlaff just behind them in the 31, and I believe Josh Williams is in the picture there. Nope, Williams is in the outside. It might be another colleague, Chevy. It might be SVG. Can't tell exactly who that is. No, SVG's on the outside as well. There's a lot of blue cars in the field. It's throwing me for a loop. David Starr in the 66 is up inside the top dozen. Good run for MBM. Herbst and Sieg at the same time in turns 1 and 2, pulling out a line. Custer going with them. All 3 of them going to try to work together to get by Parker Kligerman and Austin Hill. And a great job because they were able to do so. Not able to pull the 00, who's the 3rd car in line, clear of the 48, but the 39 and the 98 are clear of the 48. And they're probably not going to want to move back to the outside unless they can get Custer to go with them. And now they're going to be able to, so Custer will make the move first. and he almost squeezed the 48 into the wall. It was a little too late. The run was there, and Custer gets forced into the middle. So does Ryan Sieg. And all by himself at the front now is Riley Herbst, and the three Fords are split apart for now. Herbst trying to take control. Kligerman to the middle groove. Hill goes with him, and now the 98's hung out on the outside while his teammates were hung out in the middle. 4 wide on the back straightaway. A couple cars getting by Riley Herbst, the 97, the 2 following each other behind the 18 of Creed. Into the corner. Kligerman back to the lead again. And more contact further back in the pack around Ryan Sieg and Cole Custer as they immediately fell from the leaders all the way outside the top 15. They're back in 21st and 22nd. Herbst got stuck out of line, fell out of the top 10. And maybe back there with those other Fords. And now it's just a race between 3 Chevys and a couple of Toyotas behind them. And it looked like Sieg may have made contact with the wall. He is on pit road for an unscheduled stop. Unfortunate situation there for Ryan Sieg. They'll be changing the right side tires on that race car. Sounds like he may have had a tire going down. Going to top off on fuel while he's there as well, and just hoping to stay in the lead lap at this point and get a caution to get back into it. Tough break for Sieg, 2 weeks in a row. Up in contention, leading laps, trying to win a race. Now the battles between Anthony Alfredo and Parker Kligerman at the front of the field. 2 drivers on the bubble for the Xfinity Series playoffs in the 9th race of the season. Anthony Alfredo going to lead his first lap of the race today. And for the first time today, Taylor Gray's up in the top 5 as he has his teammate Chandler Smith right in front of him. That's who pushed Alfredo to the lead. Alfredo taking control on that outside right now. Kligerman pulling up closer. Doesn't have anywhere to go with the 81 going up to side draft the 48 off the exit of the corner. 4 wide again on the back straightaway. Now down to 3 wide there for a brief moment as they get organized. Kligerman thought about going on Alfredo. Pulls back up in line. That's going to bottleneck the outside up quite a bit. Great job by everybody not running into the back of one another and causing an incident there as things got a little hairy at the end of the backstretch into turn 3 that last time by. Into the tri-oval, it is Anthony Alfredo, Parker Kligerman, Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed. All on the outside, Shane Van Gisbergen clear in 5th place as well. That's your top 5 as they go to commercial on Fox. Side-by-side commercial break. We'll keep the live commentary coverage rolling on the other side. You're listening live on KRC to the Ag Pro 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Talladega Superspeedway. Take a quick ad break here in the late going while they have one. And again, we are getting down to the wire here. Just 21 laps to go. We had the big one, and we had an Allgaier incident earlier, a debris caution, one of only 4 cautions so far in the race today. Two of them for incident, a debris yellow, a stage yellow. Single car crash with a vicious impact into the inside wall off turn 2 for Allgaier was the single car incident, and then an 11 car big one early in stage 3, right around lap 65. That was almost 30 laps ago now. And Anthony Alfredo, who is running the Cup race tomorrow for the Beard Motorsports program and that 62 non-chartered entry, and an underfunded team here in the Xfinity Series having a great season in that 5 car. He's been borderline playoffs all year long, and now he's trying to get a win to lock himself into the playoffs. As he maybe doesn't have the best equipment around him like a guy like Kligerman in points. Shane Van Gisbergen's right there with him in points. Brandon Jones, it's a tight battle between those 4, and only a couple spots are open for those drivers to get in, especially with Sam Mayer getting a win last week, who was outside the cutoff line for the playoffs. Could see it 2 weeks in a row. Alfredo came into this race 13th in the driver standings. Again, 12 qualify for the Xfinity Series playoffs, so he was just on the outside looking in. $19 laps to go. Great race so far. And great racing still remaining here down the stretch.
Talladega Superspeedway with Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez. I'm Adam Alexander. Regan Smith on pit road with Josh Sims. You look at the top 10, 19 to go, and you see the career victories for those drivers up there. Pretty remarkable, the number of goose eggs, and those that are in position to go out and get it done today, including our race leader, Anthony Alfredo. Ryan Sieg made an unscheduled pit stop with that tire issue. He's the only car one lap down, so a caution could get him back in the game. This is when we think he had the issue right here.
Yeah, so they were trying to get to the top, and just like not a lot of contact with the wall, so he's looking in his mirror. Ryan's probably looking in his mirror, and he's trying to follow, because the 00 is kind of almost leading that lane from the back of like where to block, where to go. He saw the outside was coming, so 39 is probably looking in his mirror like, oh, I got to get to the top, and just I don't know if he was maybe looking in his mirror too long and just touched the fence and ended up cutting the tire down. So really tough break for those guys. He's hoping, obviously, they get a caution. He's the only car one lap down. He would get the lucky dog. That way he can get back in the race.
Right now, A.J. Allmendinger sitting pretty to win the $100,000.
You know, I was counting AJ. You know, I was counting him out. He's back in position right there.
Hey, give a call to that team, though. You go on that damaged vehicle clock. You got to get it repaired after the crash, and they had the debris and all the situations that they dealt with, but they were able to keep him in the game, and now on the lead lap and in position to get $100,000 as here we go for the lead. 48 is Parker Kligerman driving inside of Alfredo and pushing him to the front, the 21. That's Austin Hill.
Whoa!
3 wide. Custer, Creed, and Alfredo getting dicey with 16 laps to go.
Custer really liked that. He liked them getting a little jockeyed up there. We just saw him get split and go to the back, and now he's regained momentum. Help with the 2-car, got the 98 third in that row. Now he's finally made his way back to the lead. It just shows you how quick things can go back and forth at these racetracks. I mean, just the ebbs and flows of speedway racing, especially in the Xfinity cars. I feel like it's just crazy how quickly you can gain momentum back and lanes can come forward, and it's just it's making for a really good show.
For sure, and 16 laps to go here, and I feel like 16 laps to go, a lot of things can happen in 16 laps, and I mean, you can see the intensity. The intensity is just way higher right now than 5-10 laps ago, so it's going to continue to get more intense here as we go.
Look at Josh Williams outside lane in the 11. Had the penalty, went to the back, and now he's worked his way to the top 10.
Yeah, that was, I mean, he was trying to block it, but it was just such a big run coming from the 18. He wasn't going to be able to block that. He was going to either get wrecked or just let him go.
Ford's back together at the front. 98 is resurfaced, jumped up behind the 00. Custer goes down to block the inside. That's Taylor Gray, and now he's trapped in the middle. Sammy Smith pushing the 19 in that inside lane.
That indecisive stuff I was talking about, how I said you have a really small window to make your move and commit to it, and it looked like Cole wasn't committed, right? He had the option of bottom or top and just kind of got stuck in between, and then before you know it, boom, you're the car on the inside and outside, and now you're in no man's land. So you have to really make decisions quick, as Jesse Love is picking up at a rapid pace as we come back to 13 to go.
Jesse Love won the opening stage, started on the front row with his teammate. And the youngster out of California, running for Rookie of the Year, is on point, and we're going to have 13 laps remaining.
Just when I feel like it's going to settle down, the top's going to prevail, the bottom starts coming again, and then everyone's 3 wide and 4 wide, and then chaos resumes.
Something that I don't feel like a lot of the competition wanted to see was the 2, the 48, and the 21 together. Those 3 cars are pretty quick, are pretty fast. 2 teammates and one, kind of like 50% teammate with an alliance there. So those guys, we know that they're going to work together. They're going to try to stick together, and they're going to be hard to split up.
Yeah, and you just see the raw speed, right? When Jesse Love got clear, the top is prevailing, like right away. He's just tugging that lane along. The bottom lost some cars that kind of just bailed to the top, So it might string out here a little bit, but it just shows you the pace that that car has, that he can really decide if the lane's going to get strung out or not. And it just took him a while to get to the front, but he did a good job getting there, and now he has complete control.
Totally.
Until Parker decides to make the ball.
Yeah, but most likely it won't be anytime soon. You know,
Right,
I think they're gonna just continue to ride there for as long as they can. I mean, I honestly think that Parker right there is sitting right in the position that he wants to be, along with Austin Hill. But what about everyone else, right? Everyone else running 15 to 20, they're like, damn it. What?
You know, and it's so tough as we get down to the end of this race. You're thinking to yourself as a driver, okay, like I don't want to make my move too early because no one might not go with me, and I'm going to go to the back, especially when it's strung out like this. But if you go too late, the guy behind you has already made the move, and now you're stuck. Now you can't go anywhere. So it's like, when do you make your move? When you're guessing when guys behind you are going to start making their moves, so you're judging that from how far of a gap are they getting behind me? Are they planning a run? Do I lay back to them to try to not let them get a big run and kind of take their energy away? So it's all these decisions right now. And this is, to me, the worst mindset as a driver you can have. Everything is single file. You're coming to 10 to go in the race. All these scenarios are running through your head of, when can I go? When's the other lane's going to go? When's the guy behind me going to bail on me? So this is like, you're just waiting for the big storm to come, which is, it's gonna come here pretty soon.
What's up, Regan?
As you guys are talking about trying to make moves at the end of the race and what they have to do, Shane Van Gisbergen, I want to go back to something they taught him during the very first stage. Him and his spotter, Frank Daney, were working on dragging the brake and figuring out exactly how to drag it, when to drag it, to be able to get a run. If he's able to get up front, that could be a key moment that came from way earlier.
Yeah, dragging the brake, you know, that's just laying back to the car behind you, right, and just covering the gap, because the further ahead that you get from the car behind you, the bigger run that car has, the bigger the draft is, and the closing rate and their mile per hour is so much higher. So you're trying to modulate that up to where, okay, I'm going to lay back to where this guy's only coming at me like 1 mile per hour faster than me, and I can kind of block that if he's not going to make a move, rather than being 2 car lengths ahead of him, and now he's coming 5 miles an hour faster than me. That just leaves you really vulnerable for that guy to get under you and kind of leave you stranded.
Van Gisbergen learning today. He'll be racing again here tomorrow in the Cup race. Here's 98 Radio.
Probably about 2-3 to go and try and make our move. You know, these 3 Chevys out the front are going to stick together. They'll stick together until they won't. They all want to win. And 10-4, I think the RCR cars are going to stay together till the end. It's the 48 that'll try something.
Good analysis from behind the wheel there from Riley Herbst.
And I agree with him. I think Austin Hill, he wants to continue his momentum on you know, stats on super speedway racing. The 48 over there wants to win. Jesse Love, he's brand new in the Xfinity series. He wants to win as well. So I agree with him. You know, right now, the spotters on top of the roof is a very, very busy place. Everyone is being a businessman up there. You know, trying to
working
talk to each
deals,
other.
huh?
Yeah, everyone trying to understand who is with who, manufacturers. When are you gonna go? When am I gonna go? And deals like that. Right now, you know, it seems like it's calm, but it's actually a lot of business picking up everywhere.
I would love to see, for once, the spotters just going and working deals. Like, what can you do for me? You know, when are you going? It's just calamity up there. But then at the end of the day, like we talk about manufacturers and things like that, you know, people you're committed to or not. At the end of this race, you got to do what you got to do to win the race. You know, so all that stuff can go out the window really quickly, and you have to be ready for anything.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, the more far back you are in the line, the earlier you want to go. You know, if you are running 15, you don't want to go in the white flag. You know, you want to go 3-4 laps to go into a race. But if you're running the top 5, you can wait. You want to wait, actually. So, you know, it's a little bit tricky because everyone is on a different agenda. Everyone has a different plan.
And there's the start-finish line. It's not in the middle of the tri-oval, so that will maybe make a difference on when and where you make your move, especially on that final lap, which brings me to caution comes out last lap, race is over. And so as you start to think about when do I go, you probably want to be leading at the white flag because you don't want to take a chance on waiting to make your move. Caution comes out and then you don't get a chance to go after the top spot.
And you know, every spotter is telling their driver, right, everyone's single file along the top right now. And as soon as some of those cars start bailing, you know, the last handful of cars in the row that have to kind of start going with 3-4 laps to go, the spotter's going to let the driver know right away, hey, he's 5 rows back, 4 rows back. You know, you're not going to pull out of line when the bottom lane is 4 rows back of you. You want to time it perfectly to where you just kind of blend in front of them while their momentum's going forward. So the spotters aren't just not saying anything right now. They're constantly giving information to the drivers on if a car is going to the bottom and if they're making progress. As we see the 4 cars that were in the back of the top lane start to go, and those guys are like, hey, it's 6 to go. I'm not going to wait till 3 to go. We have got to go now if we're going to have any shot of winning this race. And then they don't stay committed to each other. They lost the car.
That doesn't work. You know, they have to be disciplined to each other. They have good cars out there, but they have to be disciplined. Like, yeah, they have to commit to each other. As soon as I mean, that's a great move from the 81. You know, as soon as he saw that they were not very committed to each other, he said, you know what, screw this. I'm going back to the top.
You know, Jeb thought he'd made a good move, right? He's like, man, I'm going to be leading this bottom lane. We got 5 cars. We're going to go to the front. And then you get bailed on. You're like, well, dang, that plan didn't work out. So you got to realize that these tracks, not every plan is going to work from level 1, you know, and try to rebuild a decision on how you're going to get back to the front.
Jesse Love won the ARCA race here at Talladega last year. One of his 10 victories en route to the ARCA championship. Got his picture put on the wall in the Hall of Fame just this week, honoring that win 1 season ago. And today he went down with his old team, sat on the pit box, and the new driver there, Jake Finch, was able to win the race. So perhaps a little.
We talk about Jesse, you know, rookie, and he is, but he did a great job in Atlanta. I mean, he controlled, like, the whole race at Atlanta, our last super speedway. I'm going to call Atlanta super speedway because it is, but, like, he controlled the whole thing and just ran out of gas and wasn't able to win the race. So he does a good job of realizing. So look at the gap. Look at Parker. Parker's, like, timing things right now. He's like, how far can I lay back, and what's my run look like? Okay, was I too far back getting into 3 that time to really make this move correctly? And so he's going to continue playing with that gap and laying back to the 21 and just seeing how fast he can close in on the 2 to when he's making his move. He's plotting he's making a plan right now to hopefully everything goes according to his plan.
And you can see how everyone in the top 7 is pretty tight, you know, bumper to bumper. And that tells
Couple cars starting to move out of line down to the bottom lane of the racetrack as they come to 3 laps to go. Looks like Josh Williams trying to lead the way there. Now the 18 goes and Kligerman looks to go. The 21 is going to get to the inside of Parker Kligerman. Kligerman did not go down in front of the 21. He played it smart. He knew he wasn't going to be able to clear him. So now the RCR Chevys at the front of the field of Love and Hill. Love out in the lead. The 18 of Sheldon Creed, who hasn't won an Xfinity race, has been second numerous times. Looks to the outside of his former teammate Austin Hill for second. He'll side draft him, and this is allowing Jesse Love to get about a 2 or more car length lead off of turn 4. Kligerman's got another head of steam after a great push. Almost gets squeezed into the wall by the 18 of Sheldon Creed, and here comes Hill. He's going for his teammate for the lead. At the start-finish line, it'll be Austin Hill who will lead this lap by inches over Jesse Love. Clears him. Josh Williams will go to second place following the 21. Jesse Love going to side draft the left rear corner panel of the 11 of Williams. Williams getting pushed in the middle of the corner. Got to be careful there. 3 wide. 1 car ducks out of line. Further towards the back, we continue to stay green. Austin Hill to the top to cover Kligerman up near the wall as they enter turn 3. Again, 2 laps to go right now. They get to the white flag. The next flag ends the race. Oh, and we've got a wreck. The 21's around. I thought he had it saved for a moment, but he did not. No vicious impacts in there, at least to this moment, but there are a few cars collected at the tail end of the pack with significant damage, including the 32 of Jordan Anderson, and it looked like I think Chandler Smith got into the back of him pretty good. Obviously severe damage on Austin Hill's race car. Looked like he had contact from Parker Kligerman getting into turn 3. So they got tangled together. It was actually the 07 that hit the back of the 32, not the 81. Jeb Burton's got some damage. Couple of the Jordan Anderson Racing Chevys involved. So Parker Kligerman, Austin Hill making contact. Kligerman still staying out and up at the front of the field.
It's kind of right. I mean, he was very, very close, but he started having wiggles kind of like before he touched it. he was right there. He was right there. It's tricky, man. I mean, you're going for the win at that point. You know, you wanted. He really wanted to get away with him and trying to make the move. It's tricky.
Yeah, it looked like Parker was like trying to slip to his right rear, you know, on the entry to 3, and the 21 kind of faded up for that. You see, so the 21's fading up, the 48 kind of touches a bumper, touches him a little bit again, gets the 21 wiggling, and once the 21 got, you know, once the back gets wiggling and the bumpers kind of touch wrong, it's so hard to save these cars. I mean, the spoilers are narrow. It's not like the rear side forks that we normally have where the spoilers are a lot wider that go over the rear quarter panels. These cars are so finicky and light, and the springs are super stiff, and it makes it really hard to gather it. So yeah, like Daniel said, just racing for the win. I mean, guys are going to take chances and try to do the right things, and sometimes it just turns the guy in front of you.
Going to go to overtime, which could bring fuel into the equation.
No caution.
And I give so much credit to Austin Hill because he never gave up on it. He was driving that thing all the way to the end. And for a couple of instances, I thought he was going to save it.
Now half, still top of 3. Watch out, line. Check, step. Check, come through, trying to get through. Come down middle lane, call it down, back it down, call it.
Jeb almost got through it. 221 just came up right at the last second. He caught a piece of it.
Look at our top 5 as we go to overtime. We got Parker Kligerman, Josh Williams, Parker Retzlaff, Jesse Love, and Sheldon Creed. None of those drivers have won in an Xfinity car. The stress of Talladega.
Under caution, and we are setting ourselves up for an overtime finish at Talladega in the Ag Pro 300. We are already at lap 113, which was the original scheduled distance, but again, we will go past that. Overtime rules that the race leader will get the green flag. We'll have 2 laps to go, and when the race leader crosses the start-finish line to get the 1 lap to go signal, then the next flag would end the race, whether it is the yellow or the checker. So that is what we're looking at right now. Parker Kligerman will be the leader on the restart. Josh Williams will be in second. Parker Retzlaff, Jesse Love still up there around row 2. Sheldon Creed, Cole Custer up in the contention for the win yet. Shane Van Gisbergen and Anthony Alfredo. And then Blaine Perkins and Sammy Smith rounding out the top 10. So all those drivers will be in the top 10 on this ensuing restart at Talladega for this NASCAR Xfinity Series event. It's the 9th race of the regular season for the Xfinity Series. They have a total of 26 races, just like the Cup Series in the regular season. They have 3 less playoff races, making up the 33 race schedule in 2024. Got a lot of people watching the stream right now. Greatly appreciate each and every single one of you that are tuned in for this NASCAR Xfinity Series race stream. Hashtag greatly appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe for more NASCAR content. Live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series races. Had the ARCA race. There's no practice this weekend for any series, but we did have the qualifying stream for the Geico 500 for tomorrow's race earlier this morning. So you can look forward to that every NASCAR race weekend on the channel. Tomorrow's Cup Series action will begin at 2:30 Eastern Time. Again, 2:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon will be the beginning of our pre-race. Go through my predictions for who I think will run well, not run well, and we'll go through the Fantasy League and highlight that before getting into the deep dive of the Geico 500 when the green flag drops tomorrow afternoon. Again, 2:30 Eastern tomorrow, we will go live with our Geico 500 flag-to-flag coverage.
speedways this year. He just easily took the lead a couple laps ago, and we thought, man, I don't know that he's going to be overtaken, but a little contact there sideways, and it went away.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to have control of the race, and unfortunately for him, he's obviously been the best at the drafting style racetracks, had control of this. Again, though, not going to be able to get it done at Talladega, but when I look at that top five, we talk about it being a big opportunity. Steve Parker Kligerman looks like just barely gets into the back of him, but a big opportunity for the top five from Kligerman, Josh Williams, Jesse Love, Shannon, who you picked in the pre-race to win, has led 21 laps so far. Blaine Perkins, that's a name that we don't talk about in the Xfinity Series, but we've seen surprise winners before here at Talladega. Might see one again today.
I did say, though, if we have one caution, we'll probably have five more
I think
cautions.
we're going to get to have another one as well. Yes.
Absolutely. And one thing that we sort of looked at the trends is that Chevy really has been dominant on these types of drafting racetracks. If you look at these stats over the past couple seasons, I mean, it's just incredible. And when you look at that scoring pile, right now, the Chevys are certainly out front.
Yeah, leading in all categories, poles, wins, top tens, laps to work together and can compete. But Cole Custer and Riley Herbst still in the mix of this thing, running in the top 10.
And of course, you have AJ Allmendinger, who's right now out front for that dash for cash. So we'll see if that's going to come out for AJ. Back to you, Adam.
AJ Allmendinger outside the top 20, Shannon. The lowest finisher for a dash for cash finisher ever is Justin Allgaier, 13th. So we could break that record here today in the form of AJ Allmendinger. Let's talk about what's going on here, because we're starting to see some drivers run out of fuel. We knew they were close when they made that pit stop 40-some laps ago, and then that could be a big factor as well.
Yeah, it could be. You never know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. How many green-white checkers are you going to get? So maybe those guys who stopped before the caution before this one, they might be in the best spot if we get one or two more restarts. You know, it might just flop them up to the lead. So you never know what's going to happen. I mean, whether it's on the track, on pit road at this race, it's crazy and wild, and we're in for a heck of a finish.
Daniel, mindset for a driver overtime at a place like Talladega Superspeedway.
I mean, you just have to reset, man. You have to reset because there is a lot of chances that this may not be the last caution. So, you know, if you have enough fuel, continue to save fuel, continue to stay calm, continue to, you know, communicate with your spotter who's going to be around me, who has damage, who is clean. You know, there is a lot of things going on. And like we talked earlier, there's still a lot of deals going up there in the roof. Who is clean and who's going to work with who.
So many good stories inside the top 5, top 10, among them the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen. Here's their radio.
Swashes back and forth to get the box full of fuel in the fuel cell. If we're on the bottom lane, we'll ride to apron 3 and 4 to be able to make sure it's good, okay? Okay. And don't make the lane block. You're better off to finish top 5 than you'd already do anything else. So, that's good so far. Be aggressive, and you'll have a lot of fun at the end. Just breathe.
Everybody from 16th on back in the running order I just saw on the Fox graphic has hit pit road, so the top 15 are all drivers trying to stretch the fuel window here with these extra laps into overtime. So everybody from 16th on back, Matt DiBenedetto, Jeb Burton, Anthony Alfredo, Riley Herbst, Taylor Gray, who else would be in the mix back there? Josh Bilicki, Kyle Weatherman, AJ Allmendinger, and then of course Austin Hill, who's still in the lead lap after being involved in this incident. Those are all drivers who just pitted. So they have topped off on fuel. They'll be good to go there. It's just a matter of everybody in front of them. If we get another caution, will they end up pitting? Will anybody stumble on the restart? We saw that at Atlanta, and it definitely played a huge factor in the driver leading coming to the green, not winning the race. That being Jesse Love that day. Love in third here today. Parker Kligerman, the one who is leading at this point.
Final lap, Justin Allgaier running top 5, shot out of line, hard into the wall. He would be released from the care center and was 9 straight stage victories on drafting tracks for Richard Childress Racing. We had this 12-car crash early in the final stage that took out some really good cars. Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger got a piece of that. On board here with Cole Custer, who was able to avoid the carnage. And he's now scored inside the top 5. And as we were coming to the white flag, Austin Hill out front, getting pushed in the draft, and goes around. That produces our 5th caution of the afternoon and will send us to overtime. On the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven.
You know, and as we look at where everyone chose, so Parker Kligerman chose the bottom. Jesse Love behind him. They have that affiliation there, and you have teammates on the top, Josh William and SVG. So somewhat pretty much a teammate battle here in the first 2 rows. Okay, how can you get hooked up the quickest, and who can kind of establish themselves earlier?
The only 2 drivers that are in the top 10 for this upcoming restart that have a win in their Xfinity career is Cole Custer with 13 career Xfinity wins in 5th, and Sammy Smith in 7th, who has just 1 career win in the Xfinity Series last year in the Spring Phoenix event. Everybody else in the top 10, the other 8 have not won a race, so a chance for a playoff spot, a chance to make history here, and we'll see who is going to get it done. It'll be, again, Parker Kligerman leading the way on the restart. Outside of the front row is going to be Josh Williams, and he does have a teammate behind him of Shane Van Gisbergen in his Talladega debut, trying to go to victory lane as well. Green flag back in the air. Somebody stumbled on the restart. Shane Van Gisbergen's out of gas. SVG's out of gas, and we're wrecking already for the lead. Caution is out. Kligerman gets turned into the wall. That was a mess. Headed into turn 1. There were a couple cars stumbling on gas. Shane Van Gisbergen was the first one. They split 3 wide around him. And then further out at the front of the field, I don't know if Kligerman ran out of gas because he had cars splitting around him 3 wide before he had gotten right hooked. So he either stumbled on fuel, or because of the loss of momentum from cars behind them stumbling, that maybe there were just more cars that had a bigger run on him. But whatever the case was, that 48 car is junked. A few other cars got severe damage in there. I believe Sheldon Creed was one of them. Jesse Love's going to come out with the lead, and we're going to have another restart in the late going to this race.
97 won the first one.
Yep.
48 left the door open a little bit, and then just getting shoved hard.
Jeez.
Gosh, guys just get out of control, right? People pushing super hard and trying to gather back in, and it makes it tough to wrangle in these cars.
He ended up in that spot.
Free pass. Ryan Sieg in the 39. That's big, huh?
So it launched, and then you really don't see them launch if they're out of gas. They'll normally run out kind of as they go to throttle, but he launched for a second and then ran out of gas, which was I think took everyone by surprise.
Watch him, stay high. Watch 48, stay up top.
Immediate fuel save for Custer.
I mean, there is how many cars they have left? I mean, no one. They have 10 cars left.
20. There's going to be 23 or so on the lead lap.
A lot of with damage, right?
A lot with damage. I feel like you got to come. You know, you're so close on gas. I feel like you better call off coming now and be good on fuel than running out in the restart zone, and then your day's definitely over.
Like you say, Adam, there was a group of it.
Jesse Love is leading this thing. What are they saying there?
I'm having flashbacks now. I know we got y'all freaked out about it, but to run out, that's all we can do. You just keep doing what you can do about it. Cover that.
Referencing Atlanta Motor Speedway, where he was so good. Started on the pole, won both stages, and he was in position to win it. We were closing on the white flag, and then everybody starts running out of fuel. And when we head to overtime, Love runs out of fuel as well and was unable to get his first career victory.
Yeah, you're gonna have a few cars coming. You got Custer's coming,
and he's on the same fuel window as Jesse Love.
You got the 28 of Kyle Sieg coming in behind him.
Now, the 8 of Sammy Smith is much better in the fuel situation than Jesse Love. And behind him, Leland Honeyman, Haley Deegan, they also pitted 43 laps ago. So they should be in a pretty decent spot as well. We'll take a break.
Look at this top 10. I mean, Jesse Love, Sammy Smith 1-2, but then you got Leland Honeyman in 3rd, Haley Deegan 4th, Joey Gase 5th, Cesar Vaccarella 6th, Brennan Poole 7th, Ryan Ellis 8th, Josh Bilicki 9th, Mason Massey's 11th. This is a hodgepodge group of underfunded team/drivers running up at the front of the field behind Jesse Love and Sammy Smith. And Jesse Love might not even be able to make it on fuel considering we just had guys that were on the same pit strategy as him that just ran out on this last restart. A couple more just came into the pits, like Cole Custer and Josh Williams. I don't think Jesse Love's going to make it. I'd be shocked if he does. Sammy Smith in a much better situation, but still tight for him and pretty much everybody else who's in the top 11 right now. They all last pitted about 40 laps ago or so, but quite a bit of caution laps have been green flag conditions. So even 43, 44, 45 laps by the time we go green. And we're at 43 right now for a lot of those drivers, so it'll probably be closer to 45 laps before we go green, plus another 2 green flag laps. You're having to go about 47 laps on fuel to the end of the race. And that's if we get the one to go signal this time by. So it is definitely a huge fuel saving measure situation kind of a race here down the home stretch. And we're about to go into a second overtime restart here at the Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to take our final ad break of the stream as we are into a second overtime, then continue the live commentary coverage. You're listening on KRC to the Ag Pro 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Big shout out to everybody tuning in here for this stream. Again, greatly appreciate everybody that has been watching for a large majority of this race. We have almost 400 concurrent viewers watching, only 137 likes, so be sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. It helps the channel out a ton when you hit the like button. It helps boost the algorithm up of Drive. If you're new as well, that also helps boost the algorithm up. And we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers right here on the channel. Just hit 5,000 last week. I don't think we'll get to 10,000 by the end of the season, but you never know. I greatly appreciate, though, everybody joining the ride, listening to these commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend, and the influx of new people that CeeLo sent over earlier in the stream as well. Greatly appreciate him. Shout out to him. Subscribe to his YouTube channel as well if you haven't already. Maybe if you're longtime viewers of this channel and don't know who that is, definitely look him up after the end of this stream today. Lights are out on the pace car. They will be going green this time. Right when they came back from the commercial break, Sammy Smith in the 8 car. Sammy Smith was getting pushed to pit road, so he had ran out of gas under caution. So Leland Honeyman will actually now be the car in the front row of the restart, and Jesse Love will be outside of row 1. Haley Deegan's got to be prepared for if Jesse Love running out of gas, she's got to make an evasive maneuver to get around him. I would not want to be in those first couple rows behind Love on the outside. I definitely want to be on the bottom here. But we'll see. Does Jesse Love have 2 full green flag laps in? And we've got another car, by the way, that is just stalled out. It looks like off of turn 2. Looks like Kyle Weatherman in the 91 has stalled out. And this is going to add another lap of caution.
We have a race now for the Dash for Cash.
Big time.
Our amigo Ryan Sieg is back. So there is $100,000 on the game right there for the table. It's between the 39 of Ryan Sieg and the 16 of AJ Allmendinger.
You look at the top 10, there's Ryan Sieg, there's AJ Allmendinger going for the $100,000. Sieg had that tire issue, went a lap down, went a couple of cautions without getting the free pass, but now he's got it and a chance to pick up the $100,000. And when you look at the top 10, look at 5th, 6th, and 7th. Poole, Baccarella, and Ryan Ellis. That's Alpha Prime Racing. They worked so hard, put so much time and effort in, and now they could be in position to get a victory today.
We're going to pretty much control this start. Roll to him in the box. He's going to be watching in the mirror. As soon as you get to him, he's going to fire. So you're going to time it off of the 42 and the 35, and he's going to fire as soon as you get there.
10-4. Does he know that he needs fuel to fire? Because he's close. I think actually that can make a difference, on just be aware of who is going to be good and who you may have to make a move.
Best finish by a woman in the history of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 4th by Danica. That happened at Las Vegas, 2011.
And another thing, these top 7 cars, you see 53 laps for Love, 45, 46 for the others. Like, Okay, did you save any gas that last run? Maybe some guys save some gas. Some guys and girls save some gas, and it might give them a little bit extra of a cushion, you know. So you never know what everyone did and who's going to fire or not. But I'm excited for the end of this race. There's a lot of people in this top 10, in this top 15 that aren't used to racing for the win and not used to being this close up towards the front of the super speedway. Okay, now you're in a whole nother ball game as opposed to running 20th or so. Now you're leading lanes. Now you're actually making big decisions on what a lane needs to do to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse Love is going to be short on fuel here to the end. I think we're going to get a first-time winner. I mean, you just look at the lineup in the top 10, unless somebody like Austin Hill from 12th on the restart comes up to win, which could happen still, but he does have damage to his race car. We are going to see a surprise winner here in this Xfinity Series race at Talladega. Green flag in the air. Jesse Love does not stumble on the restart, but it looked like Ryan Ellis got spun. Still green for right now. Ellis got hooked, came back across the racetrack. I think he collected a couple other cars, but we continue to stay green. Jesse Love has a 3-car length gap ahead of second place on back. Will the traffic of those that wrecked on the restart clear out in time for the leaders to take the white flag? And hopefully there's no more debris. Ryan Ellis is turned around trying to get back in the right direction, while simultaneously we got a battle for the lead. Jesse, Leland Honeyman, and Haley Deegan side by side for second. Deegan doesn't have a lot of help right now. Jesse Love has been about 5 car lengths ahead of those cars behind him for over a lap now. As they come to the white flag, 1 lap to go for Jesse Love. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? Leland Honeyman is all over his back bumper. Riley Herbst in the 98 nearly gets blocked into the wall by Haley Deegan. The outside is nowhere near coordinated. The bottom lane is not even coordinated for right now. A lot of gaps in between cars. Now driver with help from Anthony Alfredo. Poole's got a run in the Alpha Prime Racing Chevrolet. He looks to the outside of Jesse Love. Love thought about throwing a block, thought better of it. Poole's to the outside on the right rear corner panel. Not a lot of help behind Brennan Poole, but he's got a run. Off of turn 4, side by side for the lead. We are into the grass. Jesse Love pulls away to the checker. He has enough fuel to get to the end and wins at Talladega. Jesse Love finally gets his first career win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series as he holds on fumes, winning a fuel mileage race after losing one on the last super speedway at Atlanta earlier this season. Redemption at its finest for Jesse Love. He'll be the 4th different Xfinity regular to go to victory lane this season. Riley Herbst ended up 2nd. Anthony Alfredo 3rd. Leland Honeyman 4th, and Brennan Poole going to round out the top 5. The rest of the top 10, Sheldon Creed finishes 6th, Cesar Baccarella 7th, Matt DiBenedetto 8th, Jeb Burt 9th, and Cole Custer rounds out the top 10. We'll go through the full field finishing order once we get the interview with our race winner, Jesse Love, in. We went 11 laps past the scheduled distance, 2 overtimes in this one, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 41 seconds total time to get this now just over 300-mile race in. Average race speed of 135.85 mile per hour. Quite a few lead changes, quite a few different stage yellow. Jesse Love burning it down on the front stretch. His teammate Austin Hill led 41 laps from the pole. Jesse Love led the second most laps today with 28 laps led. Both Jesse Love and Austin Hill won a stage. RCR gets the sweep in the stages and gets the race win, of course, with Love getting the victory. Austin Hill finishing just outside the top 10 in 14th. Love came in 5th in the regular season point standings. I would imagine he'll move up as he has a near max points day, 59 of a possible 60 points scored. He had the most stage points and now the most race finishing points with the win. Other drivers to lead a lap today would include 13 laps led for Riley Herbst. Anthony Alfredo led 6. Matt DiBenedetto led 1. 4 laps led for Cole Custer. 1 for Taylor Gray. 7 for Ryan Sieg. Sammy Smith led 2. SVG led 1. 3 laps led for Chandler Smith. Parker Kligerman led 10. Jordan Anderson led 1. Brandon Jones led 4. 1 lap led for Ryan Truex. Even David Starr led a lap at one point in the race today, though that, I believe, was under caution. Many different drivers led. Jesse Love capturing the checkered flag on the front stretch at Talladega. And here is your race winner.
Riley Herbst was second, Alfredo third, Honeyman fourth, Brennan Poole fifth. Let's go to Regan Smith.
Jesse Love gets his first career win. Jesse, you had to say, Phil, you had to block all the lines out there. How did you do all those things to get your first win?
Just a great group of guys, man. It's been just a journey to get to this point. I got so many people to thank. First off, thank you, and give all the glory to God, and thank Him for this opportunity and the people around me. Wheeling Engineering, we got the Watts team this weekend, Danny Stubb, Billy Venturini, and Shannon Rush. Thank you guys for helping me get to this point, and man, I just wanted it so bad, and I had PTSD flashbacks from Atlanta and Talladega. My favorite speedway. I love the fans. Saw a lot of great people out on the boulevard last night wearing my shirts and everything, so woo!
You talk about flashbacks to what happened in Atlanta, running out of fuel. You got cars running out of fuel all around you, but now that you've got...
I knew my victory is secure on the cross, and I didn't have to worry about much. If I run out, then we run out. But my team did a phenomenal job. We fought. I made some moves earlier. I was like, what are you doing, dummy? That was not smart. And I could kind of hear it in Brandon Benesh's voice. And thank you, Brandon, for all you do. And, man, then Danny was like, now you're getting too far out. And I was just kind of going back and forth of, I thought I was doing a good job, and then I was making dumb decisions. And towards the end, the bottom started rolling. And I don't even remember what happened. I'll be lying if I told you I remember what happened. But just a phenomenal car, faster than Xfinity Internet. And
it was hectic for sure. A lot of people battling fuel. Just that we lacked a little bit on the plate tracks to the RCR cars, and I felt like up and down start to the year. But I'm proud of everybody on this 98 team sticking with me and ready to go win for $100,000 at Dover.
Runner-up finish for Riley Herbst. Gives a pop to the dash for cash, which reminds me that $2 for RSS Racing.
Might make up a little bit for last week.
That's just a little bit.
They stuck with it. They stuck with it even when they had the flat. Never gave up, and was able to bring home the $100,000.
And because he wins the dash for cash today, he's eligible next week with Jesse Love, Riley Herbst, and Anthony Alfredo. What a wild day today
Wow,
at
that's
Talladega. Guys, your final thoughts.
could be an interesting dash for
from
cash
many
next
people
week.
being strong. Then obviously the caution that we're expecting at the end, and then fuel. I mean, this race had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, just Love's team, they did a great job all day. Did a really good job, you know.
Looks like Jesse Love going to have to get a push back into the victory lane staging area as he is out of gas after his burnout on the front stretch at Talladega. Margin of victory just over 1/10 of a second for Love. Again, 135.83 mile per hour average race speed today, 2 hour 30 minute 41 second elapsed time over the drop of the green flag to start the race to the end of lap 124. We went 11 laps past the scheduled distance. 16 different drivers led and 34 lead changes amongst those. Love getting the Stage 1 win. Stage 2 went to Austin Hill. Race win goes to Jesse Love as well, a 59-point performance for him today. Sheldon Creed finishes 6th, Cesar Baccarella 7th, Matt DiBenedetto 8th, Jeb Burton 9th, Cole Custer 10th, Mason Massey 11th, Haley Deegan 12th, Kyle Sieg 13th, 14th for Austin Hill, Taylor Gray 15th, Josh Bilicki 16th, Ryan Sieg 17th, Joey Gase 18th, AJ Allmendinger 19th, and Josh Williams rounds out the top 20. Star lap down to 23rd, David Starr 24th, Chandler Smith 25th, 26th, Ryan Ellis 27th, Kyle Weatherman, Dawson Cram 28th, Parker DNF'd. So we ended up having finish for Patrick Emerly, Brandon Jones 33rd, Ryan Truex 34th, Jeremy Clements 35th, Sam Mayer 36th, Jeffrey Earnhardt 37th, and Justin Allgaier rounds out our 38-car field today. Don't forget, live commentary coverage for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race will begin at 2:30 Eastern of the Talladega NASCAR race weekend. Hope to see you then. Greatly appreciate all of the new of the day. We had Cup Series qualifying earlier this morning, ARCA race at 12:30 this afternoon, and now capping it off here with our triple header. Guys, for that one, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so on the way out. We're at 172 likes. I think we're only like 8 likes shy of a new stream record for this season for the most likes on a single stream. For more NASCAR content as well. Ryan Sieg does win the Dash for Cash. Congratulations to him as well, despite finishing 17th, coming from a lap down and flat tire to late there. He just got the free